Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. And I've been busy today. I did Jovan Bradley's show earlier today for a good maybe 4 or 5 hours. I don't remember, but now here we are again, back on the Bible Guy show. So here we are. Everyone, make sure you tap that screen, share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interest in. You're on mute or something. What? On YouTube, can y'all hear me? Let's see. Sound settings. Can you hear me now? On TikTok, y'all, on YouTube, y'all hear me fine. Settings. There's just something going on in my settings. I switched my microphones for a second. Here, 1 second. Okay, can you hear on TikTok? Can y'all hear me still? You were good, but now you're not. Well, oh wait, maybe it's this. All right, now what's going on TikTok? Oh my god. It's good to know on YouTube I sound good no matter what, but still we gotta make sure that people on TikTok can hear me, or else we can't have conversation. Can you hear me on TikTok? Now you're good? All right. Fantastic. All right. So I guess we'll bring in our first guest for the day, Gabriel PTX. Gabriel, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old? What was that?
I can't hear you.
I said, are you at least 18 years old?
I think you're muted, bro.
You can't hear me?
Oh, it's my headphones, my bad.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2. What pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And then question number 3, do you think Jesus is dead?
No.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible Guy. I think Jesus is dead. Gabriel, could you give me a good reason to think otherwise?
But aren't you making the claim that don't you have to back it up?
No, because when people die, they tend to stay dead. We have no examples of them coming back from brain death. So that is the default position. If you're going to make me believe otherwise, I'm going to need a good reason.
It's kind of retarded, no?
Wow, right off the bat.
That's a Christian, everyone.
That's a Christian. He by the way, the reason he did that, because that was basically him running, because he knew that if he slurred, I would here. I'm gonna get the What is it? Let me get the sound.
Rockstar.
Basically, they know that if they slur, that we have to kick them. So that's just his way of bailing out of the conversation, so that he doesn't actually have to give us a reason to think that Jesus isn't dead. Nice try, buddy.
I did the same prompt earlier. I said, Jesus isn't coming back, prove me wrong. And I had some people that actually listened to what I was saying and said they'd go research it. That's good.
Well, hopefully we can get some honest interlocutors gay and not today and not some children. So as
Perhaps.
Azabian, I'm going to ask you 3 questions and we'll see if you can act like an adult in this conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3, do you think Jesus is dead?
No.
All right, I'm Don the Baba Guy. I think Jesus is dead. Could you give me a good reason why I should think otherwise?
Well, to piggyback off the other guy's argument, I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, you're the one making the claim. I mean, usually if people are dead, they have records for being dead. So,
No, they
like, if you
don't.
can't, so people don't have records for being dead.
Most people in the ancient world don't have records for their death.
Yeah, but this is the word of Augustus Caesar, though. I mean, usually people did have records when they died.
What?
No, we don't have records for the majority of first century Palestinian Jews dying.
So you say you don't?
No one, it's unreasonable to ask for because we don't have records for the vast majority of people who died in the ancient world. They're still dead. There are
No.
during after the revolt led by Judas the Galilean, 3,000 Jewish men were crucified for the revolution. We don't have any of their names. They're still dead, even though we don't have a record of with their name on it. So
we don't have their names, but we have the numbers of people that have been crucified.
we have lots of people were crucified. Jesus of Nazareth was crucified. Judas the Galilean was crucified. Millions of Jewish people during the first Jewish war at the end of it were crucified in Jerusalem. Now, the default position is that when people go into brain death, they stay dead. That's been our experience with every single other incident. I would need a good reason to think otherwise.
Oh, okay.
So
And all we really have for Jesus are anonymous accounts. Many years after he died, claiming that he resurrected. Like, we don't have any firsthand contemporary accounts that this actually happened. The closest you get to is Paul, and I think Paul just had a hallucination. I think he hit his head and had some kind of near-death experience, and because he felt guilty about what he was doing to them, that he perceived something that he believed to be the resurrected Jesus. But it's funny because when you read the Gospels, he contradicts what the Gospel Jesus says. So I have no reason to think that he actually saw Jesus, and most of and he didn't actually see, like, he wasn't at the resurrection or anything, and at most he just tells us that the disciples believed Jesus had resurrected.
So why should we think that Jesus isn't dead?
Why should you think that he is?
Because dead people stay dead, and I have no examples of dead people not staying dead, brain dead people. So that's the default position. You're gonna have to give me a good reason to think otherwise, bud, or else I'm just not gonna believe you.
I'm going to ask one question. Do you believe that he was a real person?
Yep. I just don't think he's alive anymore. Like everybody who lived 2,000 years ago.
So, real person, but isn't resurrected.
Correct. Like everyone else who lived 2,000 years ago.
Got you.
Azabian, do you believe that Julius Caesar was a real person?
Yeah.
Do you believe he became a god after he died?
No.
There you go.
Same.
But how does that correlate?
Because it's the same premise.
I don't think that this Jewish guy who got fucking staked up by the Romans was anything special. Just another criminal. That's it.
And the reason we haven't found a body to go with Jesus is because he was likely buried in a mass grave, and by now he's probably bones. If even that, he's either bones or he's just dust now. Like, we wouldn't know if we actually found him or not. We'd have no idea.
So do you got anything for us, Azabian?
Why haven't people found him?
Azabian, have you got anything positive?
I mean, my question is,
Azabian, have you got any positive reasons why we should believe that Jesus isn't a big heckin' dead boy?
Yeah, I'm going to ask my question. If you can resist cutting me off. My question is that if he's not resurrected, right, why hasn't his body ever been found?
Dude, okay, it's been 2,000 years. What do you think his body would look like?
It's not about that.
Yep, it
It's
is about
about
that.
back then.
No, it's about that. What would Jesus' body look like after today if we did
If
find
he's
it?
never resurrected, if
If
he's never resurrected,
uh-huh.
it will be a big old pile of bones. Yeah,
Can you tell the difference
but my
between one
question,
pile of bones and another?
no,
Okay, well then, dumb question. Moving on. Aristeus also claimed to have been resurrected from the dead. Where's Aristeus's body?
I don't know.
Oh, what about Apollonius of Tyana? Also claimed to be resurrected from the dead. Where's his body?
No idea.
So they must still be alive, right? No, because that's a bad argument? Alrighty then. So why should I think Jesus
No,
isn't dead?
I literally don't know. Like, I literally don't know.
I
Like,
know.
you can't call me foolish.
I mean, that's
You can't
basically.
call me
I mean,
foolish. You can't call me foolish.
that basically summarizes this conversation. Yeah, you don't know.
You can't call me foolish on ignorance.
You are foolish. You believed in something with no good reason.
But you don't know where his body is either. You don't know where his body is either.
That's because dead people's bones are like, I don't know, but the majority of dead people are today.
They literally had graves marked with.
Not always.
Not always. Most crucifixion victims didn't get buried, and I don't have any good reason to think Jesus was different.
We have no reason to think that Jesus resurrected any more than the claims that Alcestis or Aristeus resurrected. It's all just ancient mythology about people who supposedly resurrected people, said they saw them. You know, even I think isn't it even 200 years after Aristeus died that people were still claiming to see him or something like that?
Yeah. So here's the thing, Xavier. I'm gonna need you to like give us something because you're kind of just sitting there quietly and it's kind of boring to watch. And I got another guest waiting. So do you have anything for us?
I'm not here to entertain you.
I don't care.
I'm not here to entertain you.
Well, I don't care. I have a show. Are you going to interact with us at all?
So is it a show or like, am I here to learn?
I would both. It's a show, but also you're here to learn. It's the Bible Guy show.
This is for your entertainment.
It's for their
This is for your entertainment.
Well, I do get some entertainment from it. Yes, it's partly for entertainment, partly to teach my audience because most people who actually come up here are actually interested in learning. Now, can you give me a good reason to think that Jesus isn't dead?
I mean, not one that you'll like.
All right. Thanks for admitting that. He was boring.
Hey Dalton, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, bud? All right.
Doing all right, friend. Doing all right. Yeah, I've been doing a similar prompt.
Hopefully, the next guest will actually give me a reason to think that Jesus isn't dead. All right, Sherdick. I'm gonna ask you three.
Let's find out.
I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll see about getting to the conversation. Hopefully, question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
A male.
That's not a pronoun.
E.
Okay. And then question number 3:
E.
do you think Jesus is dead?
I'll say no.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible Guy. I think Jesus is dead. Could you give me a good reason to think otherwise?
Okay. First of all, I'm going to answer your question this way. I believe that Jesus, he died, but he resurrected. And
Yes.
the good reason,
That's the belief.
reason is that because when after he died, he spoke with the disciples for 40 days,
Proof?
and he was with them.
What's the proof?
So that is the good reason.
What's the proof?
You see?
Yeah, that's just a claim. What's the
Now,
evidence?
The proof is that after he resurrected, he was with the disciples for 40 days.
Yes, I
40
know.
days.
Yes, I know. That's the claim. What's the evidence for that claim?
Okay. The evidence, we could see, for example, the Bible is also an evidence for the claim also. And also we could see there are many other people that have also had.
I don't believe in the Bible.
Okay. So I'll say Okay, I'm gonna answer your question this way. If this is a topic about what about Jesus, whether he's dead or not. So I will say first of all that for you, because now there's a two different thing between the I will say between the science knowledge or the theology knowledge. But we Christians, with the Bible is being written, even though it's been written by men, but everything come from the inspiration of the Holy Spirit.
That's not
So
true.
most of the thing you
So I'm familiar.
okay, now let me go.
None of that's true. The Bible's not reliable. It's not inspired by the Holy Spirit. It makes a lot of scientific and historical errors. That's why I can't trust it when it makes supernatural claims about Jesus.
Okay, yes, okay. I'm gonna say in that case you are right. Scientifically, for it, sense and what I'm gonna put it now for if you want to do it on your own human understanding, there's so many errors, yes, but in the spiritual way, because Jesus in the spiritual way, we understood it not just by reading, but the Holy Spirit also give us a true meaning or an interpretation of what God word
Yeah,
is, because you cannot.
that's a nice claim, but it's just cope. Like, the Bible is a book just like any other book. I can read it for myself and I can understand it without all the supernatural nonsense. I don't need a special decoder ring of the Holy Spirit in order to understand what the Bible says. In fact, I often know what the Bible says better than most Christians do. If anything, your belief in God keeps you from being able to rightly divide the word of the Bible. So again, why should I think that Jesus is not dead? Is your argument just going to be because the Bible says so?
No, I'll say really no. I'll say number two. Number two also is that there are other people also had testimonies also about Jesus visiting them in a dream, and so
That
many that receive revelation.
if Jesus visits you in a dream, then it's just a dream.
No, just in visions. Most time physically, they have seen angels. That you have given testimony.
If you're seeing things that other people aren't seeing in the room, you need help.
No. There's a reason for the further four. I asked one question. I say further four. I say because if you try to reason, if you try to reason with your own human understanding, the things of the spirit, it will be impossible.
If you're telling me that I can't use reason to come to know whether or not Christianity is true or not, then I will never be a Christian, because you're asking me to check my brain out at the door, and we don't do that here. You're basically just confessing to me and to my audience that your beliefs are unreasonable if reason cannot get you to the truth.
No. You are getting me wrong. Now, what I'm trying to say is that we the Bible is being written by men. It's being written by what? By the language of men. Actually, I agree with that. It's being written by the language of men. But there is one thing we must understand, because we are talking about what? About Jesus. We are talking about what? About what? And this is also a religious topic also. And you that's asking a question, you don't believe neither on the Bible, neither on Jesus.
Yeah,
Now,
I don't believe in I don't believe in the Bible because it's scientifically and historically inaccurate, contains contains internal contradictions and failed prophecy. So yes, that's why I don't trust the Bible.
No. Okay. So now you on your own case now you have doubts on yourself that okay, yes, I don't trust it because historically or so on and so forth. But there was one thing also you must understand, that because you don't believe, as far you don't believe it, and as far you believe that okay, there's so many contradictions on it. Because number one reason I also give you, so no human is perfect. One is perfect, no matter the knowledge, no matter
Yeah,
everything we have, no human is perfect.
which is why the Bible is imperfect, because it was written by imperfect people.
Exactly, because it was being written by men. So we must also understand also, we must also place that also, that okay, that the no human is perfect, because we can make mistake. But even at that also, we still believe by faith. That's why you see in a Christendom, we talk about faith.
Faith is a good way to get tricked into believing something that isn't true. I have no use for faith. You have faith and it leads you to Jesus. Muslims have faith and it leads them to Muhammad. Faith is useless. It's a useless mechanism for getting to the truth. And faith is gullibility. faith is gullibility. If you're telling me first, you told me that reason can't get you to the truth about Christianity. Now you're telling me I have to just believe in shit without good evidence, and I'm sorry, I'm not willing to do that.
People of
okay, no,
Jonetowns had faith too. Look where it led them.
okay. Now listen very well. Now listen very well now. So all this thing I'm saying, now to you now, it seems everything. No matter, even though I'm trying to explain to you now, so no matter any detail that I try to bring to you, as far that you yourself you are not willing also to yourself that you are claiming
I'm willing to be
Listen,
convinced by evidence. I'm willing to be convinced by evidence, but you've not yet provided any evidence. You've just made claim after claim.
okay, yes, because if by evidence now also, because by evidence, if not by evidence, for the first thing that we do is believing. So,
No,
but you yourself, you
don't start
okay,
with
okay.
you don't start with belief. That's the end. That's the end point. You don't start with belief. That's where you end. If you start with belief, that's
No,
how you
no.
get duped into believing things that aren't true.
Okay. See, because I believe, no, I'm going to put it this way. I believe this way that we as Christians, we know that, yes, even me myself understood that. Also, the Bible, historically, when you read it, there's so many points, most people say contradiction, but there's one thing we always do, which is by faith. By faith, even though we haven't seen it.
Faith
Okay,
is useless. I don't know how many times do I have to
just
say
give me,
that. It's not a good
okay,
faith is how you start. You do okay. Yes or no? Do Muslims have faith?
everybody has faith.
No. Well, no. Not everyone has faith. Do Muslims have faith?
Okay, no. Listen, I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I can't say that.
Yes or no? Just yes or no. Do Muslims have faith?
I'll say I don't know. I'm not a Muslim.
Okay,
I'm
I'll
not
tell
a
you.
Muslim.
I'll tell you this then, because I've spoken to Muslims. Muslims do have faith in their religion. Muslims have faith. Do you think that Islam is true?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't believe in Islam.
Okay. Do you think Christianity is true?
Yes.
All right. So you have faith, and a Muslim has faith. Faith leads you to the truth. Faith leads them to something false. If faith can get you to the truth and to a falsehood as easily as one or the other, then faith is no better for finding out what is true than flipping a coin.
I myself don't just believe only by what I've read. I also believe on Jesus because of the things I have seen. By miracles, by healings, by signs and wonders. These are the things that
I don't trust your ability to assess things and accurately relate what they mean. So let's not get into your personal testimonies or miracle claims. I need something independent that I can verify.
Okay. I understand whether I understand because you haven't seen it also. But for you to be able to understand these things, you must also give your heart, because you must not have a stony heart, a stone heart. Have a heart to receive the word, to understand the word.
No, that's bad. You don't just start by believing. You want me to start by first believing in something, that way I'll accept it. That's bullshit. No, you don't get my belief straight from the bat. You need to make me believe by giving me evidence. Belief is what comes last, not first. Belief comes after I've been convinced, not belief first, then convinced after.
I'll say the evidence that Jesus is not dead is that he is the King of Kings and is still the one that rose. And after he resurrected, he spoke with the disciples for 40 days.
Prove
it.
Already
in the Bible.
Give me reasons to believe that claim is true.
Okay. That claim is true. Number one, he ascended to heaven.
That's another claim. Why should I? Every time you make a claim, okay, do you know the difference between claims and evidence? Do you know the difference between those two things?
No, I'm not too sure, but explain it for me. Explain.
Okay.
Explain.
An example of a claim is a statement that's just made, no evidence involved. For example, if I say to you, there is a green dragon in my garage, that's a claim. Evidence would be, I open up my garage and you see the green dragon. Look at that. I just proved the thing I said. All you're doing is just saying things about what you believe without giving me a reason to think that those things are true. You do realize that I'm aware that you believe Jesus ascended into heaven. I just need a good reason to think that that is true, because I don't believe in all the other bullshit from other religions. Why would I suddenly believe in the New Testament's claims?
Okay. Number one. True miracles, true signs and wonders. That's one of them. That he is, that is alive.
I don't believe in miracles. Prove to me that miracles exist.
Okay, but you check on your phone on YouTube. People are being healed by so many preachers in the name of
that's not evidence. I will
here's
here's how you can prove to me that miracles exist. This is a good way. Instead of just watching a YouTube video, because YouTube videos are bullshit. Now stop talking. Stop talking. Okay, this is how you prove that miracles are real. You get 50 people who we have medical evidence, medical papers showing that they have illnesses and ailments. Then you have one Christian go up to all 50 of them and pray for them one after the other. And if they are all 100% immediately healed, using the name of Jesus, then I will believe that miracles exist. And you can show me afterwards that their ailments, and you can show me medically, scientifically proving that their ailments are gone after the prayer that occurred. That's how you would prove it to me, that miracles are real.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of it. A lot. I mean, a lot of it. You can check it. So many pastors like Pastor Chris, like TB Joshua. There's a lot of.
Okay, here's the question, Shardrick. Do any of these miracle workers, do they ever check to make sure the individual actually has a real ailment, medically speaking? And do these people immediately get healed? And do we have evidence, medical evidence that they are immediately healed?
Yes, immediately get healed. You can check it on your phone. If when you have chance, check it online. Check with pastors.
Give me an example. I'm not doing the homework for you. Give me an example where we had a person, where we had their medical records and we know for a fact that they had an illness. Then this person prayed for them, and then immediately they went to the hospital, got another medical check, and the ailment was gone.
You could check for on Pastor Chris.
And also, it needs to be not just one example, but it needs to be back after back after back, 50 times in a row.
A lot of example. There are not just only in America, but also all over the world. There are pastors that what true. There are so many people that their shit testimonies are not Jesus have.
I don't care about testimonies. I want evidence.
Because what am I going? Because I'm going. Because the Bible says.
Shurdrick, could you repeat to me what it is that I expect as evidence for miracles?
What do you expect? What do you expect from the evidence of miracles?
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, yes. Okay, because for you to know that Jesus still heals and is alive, because the Bible says, the time Jesus was on earth,
Shurdrick, repeat to me what I said to you would be evidence of miracles.
The evidence of miracles. That's what I'm saying. Because
do you remember the process I just gave you?
Okay. You see?
1, we have multiple individuals, all who is scientifically and medically confirmed that they have illnesses. 2, one person prays for all of them at once. And then 3, we check all of them again immediately, have them checked, and we see if the ailment has gone away. If the examples you are giving me do not meet that criteria, then I don't give a shit.
Okay. No, that's why I give you 1. Check browse on your phone for Pastor Christ, and also for TB Joshua.
I am not going to waste my time looking through hours of footage that isn't scientifically backed.
We need studies.
No, the miracle has been done. It's been done. You see the people. The people is with their.
Do they have these people's medical records shown on the screen beforehand, and then they travel? And then the person prays for all these people, and then they travel to the hospital and get themselves checked out, and then immediately we see that all these people at once. Bullshit.
Yes. No. Check first. No, before you judge.
Here's your job.
Check for the 4.
Here's your job. You go and you find me an explicit example of this. You go and find it. I'm not wasting my time looking through your bullshit claims. You go and you find me a clip where we have a bunch of people, more than one, a group of people, where we know for a fact that they have illnesses. They are prayed for in the name of Jesus. They are immediately healed. And then we immediately get confirmation from a medical expert that they are healed. Otherwise, I don't give a shit. And I'm not going online to look at Apostle Creed's videos of him just saying words and people allegedly getting healed.
You're not listening. So okay, number one. That's the first thing. Number one
I am listening. I just told you what my criteria is. I've listened to what you said. I heard every fucking word you said. Your standard of evidence just is not good enough.
Okay. You know what? The way you respond, you seem a little bit disrespectful, but no problem. But I'll say number two. Number two, I'll also say number two also. We can also see number one to show that Jesus is real is number two.
I already agree that Jesus was real. He was a real person. I just think he's dead.
That is a lie. I mistake. That is a lie. Number one. Number two.
Whoa! Stop! Not a lie. Either you don't know what a lie is or you're being dishonest. A lie is when someone knows that something is not true and they say that it is. But to say that I am lying would mean that I know that Jesus is not dead, and yet I'm saying he is dead. Can you read minds?
Brother,
yes or no? Can you read minds?
Brother, no, give me time for me to speak.
Yes or
then you can speak.
You only need a second to say yes or no.
No. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes or no? Can you read minds? Otherwise, you're full of shit. Yes or no? Can you read minds?
You are being disrespectful. Thank you very much. I'm
yes leaving. Or go, leave, run away. We'll miss you. Yeah. Yeah, as soon as he got called out. Don't fucking call me a liar.
Yeah, he had no evidence for his beliefs, so he just kind of had to make the claim that you were lying. Like, we have no evidence of miracles actually happening. Do medical anomalies happen? Yeah. We have no way to link them to a god, and it's sure as hell not a specific god. So like there's you can never make the claim that they're actually miracles because you can't link them to a deity.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna bring up Package Man, and then after Package Man, we'll read some of our super chats.
Hello,
Package Man. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation.
Okay.
Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3: do you think Jesus is dead?
No.
Right.
I don't.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I think Jesus is dead. Could you give me a good reason to think otherwise?
What is Jesus is dead? What does that mean though? Like
that he's not alive. That Jesus of Nazareth is not alive.
Can we debate theism instead of this?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Why is it that are you a Phil bro? Why is it that Christians insist on debating God? Why is it that Christians are never prepared to talk about the Bible?
Yeah, but you're presupposing God is true.
No, he's not.
I mean, yeah, even if I believed in God, that God was real, still would think Jesus is dead.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So do you think God is real?
No, I don't. No, we don't. But you're not going to try to trick me into doing a theism debate. Don't give a shit. I just want evidence that Jesus is not dead.
There's no point proving Jesus isn't dead if like you don't already believe a God is real.
I would believe God was real if you could prove Jesus resurrected from the dead.
What? No, but you wouldn't believe in. That's a gapsuous claim, bro.
I would be a Christian if it turned out Jesus really did resurrect from the dead. They would validate his claims.
You would only do that if he was God, so you would presuppose God is real.
No, I wouldn't need to believe he is God. I would just need to believe he was he was the Messiah and that he resurrected from the dead. Whether or not he's God and I adopt that specific type of Christianity or not, that's a later debate. But can you give us any reason to think Jesus isn't dead, or are you just refusing to engage?
So the Messiah would have to be sent by God.
Sure, if you could prove, that's a different conversation for another day. I do debates on whether or not Jesus is the Messiah as well. But the debate for today is whether or not Jesus is dead or not.
Yeah, but this
Here, yes,
presupposes...
yes or no. Are you going to engage in the debate, or do I need to just move on?
Okay, yeah, you can just move on, I guess, bro.
Okay, bye.
W concession.
They're never prepared. The Phil Bros are never prepared to talk about the Bible. They fucking hate talking about it.
That's a book full of lies.
Yeah. If I was a deist and believed in a God today, still wouldn't be a fucking Christian. All right, I'm going to read some super chats and then we'll get on to Mac Henry Charles. Oh, let's see.
Ask Henry Kickman with the 110 Turkish lira. I think that's what's called. Hey there. Hey, you're in Bible Guy. We will need a hypothetical deity. We cannot rely on DZ or share it forever.
Well, we do have a hypothetical deity for the show. Peggy, the holy strap-on, the true goddess of the gaps. So there you go. I just not sure whether or not I can actually have a picture or idol of her on screen because of her nature is too much for TikTok to handle. But there you go, bud. And then
Ask Henry Kickman again with the 55 Turkish lira. Oh, hey, I'm enlightening about Peggy by your disciple. Sorry. There you go.
There you go. Fan-fucking-tastic. Already taken care of. And then one last super chat before we move on to
the next guest. At Harvey Shine with the 5 pounds. The preacher and the caller mentioned TB Joshua was accused of SA on women and I think girls. I saw a documentary about him recently.
Shocker. A pastor committing sexual assault? Who'd have thunk? All right. McHenry Charles, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions and then we can get to the conversation.
Did.
Question number 1,
are you someone that he recommended me to work for when I'm using alone?
McHenry.
But I'm just not too...
I'm going to have to mute you. McHenry, you are on the line, bud. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy, talking to McHenry Charles. McHenry Charles, are you at least 18 years old? McHenry. McHenry, are you there?
He might have called it by accident. Because it seemed like he was talking to somebody else.
Yeah, I guess I'll just drop him. And we'll go on Percy.
If it was on purpose, he can come back.
Yeah. Percy, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old? Hello?
Yeah. Hello, hi. Hi, the Bible.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
All right. And what pronouns do you go by?
Sorry?
What pronouns do you go by?
She, her.
Oh,
I'm not familiar with that. I'm sorry.
You did fine. And then question number 3, do you think Jesus is dead?
Yes. I don't know. Do you only speak to believers?
Yeah, I only talk to I'm only interested in Christians defending the resurrection.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not a Christian.
Okay, no problem. You have a wonderful day, Percy.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Dalton, my friend Alex wants to know, how do atheists view witchcraft? Do we think it's medicine or something?
Most witchcraft is just, it's no different than anything that Christians do. It's just, there's saying spells and there's prayer, which are, it's just magical thinking. Sometimes it involves like herbs and medicines and stuff like that. Sometimes Yeah, exactly, Nicholas. Placebos, for example. Other times it's just other psychological phenomenon like Ouija boards. It's just idiomatic motor control. Idiomotor control is what it's called. Psychology,
Were your
medicine,
friends messing with you?
pseudomedicine. Yeah, pseudomedicines and other just magical thinking, positive thinking, that kind of stuff. But no, we definitely don't think magic is real either. McHenry requested back up and then they dropped. So I don't know. That boy Alex says, I like how no one so far has clearly answered the question. What question? This question? What question? Psychosomatic? Yeah. Well, yeah. The answer, yeah, psychosomatic would be. I think it's correct. Exactly. Yeah.
My friend Alex is a Christian, but they're definitely not like the other Christians we talked to. They're actually like really good, and so.
Hell yeah. Here's a good comment over here. Just for fun, I'm gonna pull it up. Oh wait, that's not how that works. I can't do it like that. Here, maybe if I click on this button right here, and then I scroll down a lot. Well, fuck it, I'll just read it.
Thank you, Lade. Thank you for the creepers, Lade.
Fun fact, Phil Bros are not serious philosophers. I studied philosophy in my late teens, early 20s, then dropped it until recently. All they do is circle jerk idiotic ideas and they are and think they are good. Yeah. That is true. All right, we got Bear the Truth. Bear the Truth. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions and then we can get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I am at least 18 years old. Yes, sir.
All right, and what pronouns do you go by?
I don't do all that, but I'm a man.
Well, you have to answer the question if you want to talk to me. Those are the rules of the live.
Oh, okay. I was born as a man, so he, whatever, he, him.
All right, and question number 3, do you think Jesus is dead? Also, no, you weren't.
No.
Also, no, you weren't born a man. No one's born a man. I wasn't born a man.
Oh, okay. We can agree to disagree. I was born a man.
You were born a man.
You were born like a.
So
like a, you were
to
born,
answer
you were
to
born
answer
like,
your last question.
You were born.
Can I answer your last question real quick?
Wait.
Can I answer your last question?
Wait.
Hold on. I answered your question. Can I answer the last one?
No.
So I do believe that Jesus is not dead. Yeah.
I don't care. You were born 18 years old. Were you born?
Y'all hear how he's mad? He's muting me.
No, no, I'm confused.
Why are you muting me?
I'm confused how someone could possibly be born a man.
You mean a male synonymously with a man?
Nope, not synonymous. Wait a minute. Males are synonymous with man? Wait a minute. Here, wait a minute.
Is a man a male? Is a man a male?
Here, wait a
Not
minute.
always.
Nope. Here, wait a minute.
Yeah, a man is a male. Anyways, so to answer your last question,
not moving on.
Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive.
On. I know you want to.
Jesus is alive.
Don't care. So, is this a man?
Is that a man? That's so funny. That's cute.
Is it a man? They're males.
That's so cute. That's a foolish question.
If male and man are synonymous, and these are male dogs, I love how embarrassed he's getting. Yeah, the nervous laughter is crazy.
Y'all see this? Y'all see how stupid these guys are?
Yes, well,
not as much as you are.
Yes, they see how stupid they are. So bear the truth. Are these
y'all
men?
See how stupid he is? Look how stupid he is.
Are these?
Why
men?
are you afraid?
Are these?
Why
men?
are you afraid?
Are these?
Why
men?
are you afraid?
Are these?
Why are you
men?
afraid?
Are these men?
Why are you afraid?
Dodging the question, Barry.
He can't.
I answered the.
No, you answer the question. Are these men? Yes or no?
I answered the question.
Are these men? Yes or no?
I answered the question.
I don't care. Are these men? Yes or no?
I answered the question. Go back.
This guy's such a fucking coward.
I answered the. I'm not an effing coward. You wouldn't.
Everyone in the comment section, call Bear the Truth a coward. Coward.
Coward.
I would knock your teeth down.
Coward.
There's a threat. There's a threat.
What a
That's
pussy.
Right.
What a pussy. Ooh. Coward.
That's right. It's a threat.
Coward, crash out. Here, let me.
Hey, Bear, have you ever read?
Try
Bear,
about
have
it.
you ever read Revelation 21?
Try about it.
No one gives a shit what you have to say, bud. So,
Bear, have you ever read
Try
Revelation
about it.
21?
That's why you guys want.
Is this a? I'm
That's
not
why you want me up here.
I'm not gonna let him move on. Is this a man?
That's why you.
Here,
That's why you want.
you will either answer the question
Come
or I
on,
will
man.
drop you. You
Come
either
on.
you
Come
will
on.
either
Drop
answer.
me. Drop me. Drop me. I answered it.
No, you didn't.
Pussy.
Coward. What a coward. Typical Christian. They can't. As soon as he saw the flaws in his logic were put out there. As soon as I showed him a male, suddenly, because he knew for a fact, oh fuck, I guess all males aren't men. What a dumbass, said he was born a man.
Yeah. I guess he's never read Revelation 21:8 either, because it says that the cowardly burn in the lake of fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he also hasn't read Colossians.
Whoa. Everyone report bear the truth. Said, I'll be sure to find you, man. I've already done it before. Fucking report this stupid son of a bitch.
Hey, Bear, I'll be ready. Just you be certain I'll be ready, Bear.
Yeah, motherfucker, I live in Texas. You know what that means? I'm always fucking ready.
I live in Mississippi, same. Always ready for something like that.
Jesus Christ. Loeb, were you born a man?
No, I was born a baby. That's a little weird.
Same here. I was born a baby.
That would have been kind of. I mean, it's already hard enough to squeeze a baby out of a pussy. So, like, to squeeze a grown man out of one is a little insane.
It's crazy that Bear the Truth's mom was able to perform such a medical marvel. She was pregnant for 18 years, and then she gave birth to Bear the Truth. That's crazy, unbearable, not for the falseness, and crazy.
She bore a giant bear.
Well, Dalton, are you sure it's not like Jack from Supernatural where he came out full grown?
Yeah, maybe Bear the Truth is magic. Like he was born. There was a great light, and then boom, he was a full grown man. I'll find you. You don't worry about it. Listen, Bear the Truth. 1 second. I'm just gonna send this to TikTok. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Screenshot. Fuck that guy.
We don't tolerate threats.
What a fucking coward. Also, you get blocked.
Only cowards threaten like that.
Yeah. Wild. That guy, by the way, everyone, just so everyone's aware, that was a Christian. A Christian who, instead of turning the other cheek, wanted to turn my cheeks. So, you know.
Dalton, Alex wants to know if they can come up and hang out. They're friendly.
I try not to have too many friendlies on at once, because when I do that, it ends up becoming a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know what you mean.
But I appreciate you watching, Alex, and nonetheless.
Yeah, Alex is really cool. They're a Christian, but they're not like any of the other Christians I've been. Like they're actually nice and kind, and they actually can criticize the things in the book, and they don't believe that it's all true, and they actually take honest positions on it all. So.
But I'm gonna bring up Vidar or Vith. I think it's actually pronounced Vithar. Is it Vithar? Vidar. All right, Vidar. I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. I only ask that you act like an adult, a responsible, respectable adult. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
I am.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
Thank you. And do you think Jesus is dead?
I thought that was Jesus. I was about. He's my neighbor, Jesus. I was about to say, what did you know that I didn't? I'm sure there's somebody named Jesus who's passed away. Sure, people have been named Jesus or Jesus before.
Probably Jesus of Nazareth, just so we're clear.
Oh, I'm not even sure that person actually existed.
W. Well, I appreciate you coming up here, bud. But I am only looking for opposition right now.
I figured. I just wanted to give you a chuckle.
Yeah, I needed it. I've had too many crazies up today. So thank you.
Also, Crunchy Trilobite, if I may give him a quick shout out for knowing the name Vidar. That is, yep, the silent one, brother.
I have seen that character before, which is why I was like, it's called, what is it, a thorn?
Vidar is the silent one, the strongest of the Norse gods.
Who, I mean that. I mean that letter. I mean the letter, the one that looks like a D. What's it called?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a thorn.
You were right.
Makes a th sound. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep. I only know that because I got a little bit into it when I started playing God of War. So I learned a little bit about those those like Swedish sort of Danish languages or whatever.
He's often overlooked in a lot of popular media, sadly, because his story is extraordinarily interesting. He's kind of the god that went out on his own and just kind of said screw it to everything and everyone. And he's like, I'll only show up when I'm absolutely needed.
Wow, my spirit animal. All right. Well, Vidar, thank you for coming up, and we're gonna move on to the next guest. You have a good day, bud.
Absolutely, you too, bud.
All right, we're gonna try again with Mac Henry Charles. Mac Henry Charles. Let's hopefully they'll actually. McHenry, are you there?
What's up? Yeah, I'm here. What's up? What's up?
Sorry, but you were talking to someone else earlier, and you didn't realize you were up, bud. But I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3: do you think Jesus is dead?
No.
All right. And by the way, for the rest of the Christians, look at that. How easy that was to answer the questions. McHenry's the VP right now, MVP. McHenry.
Thanks, man.
I'm not convinced that
you
Jesus...
can just say Mac. I keep forgetting to change that.
Mac? Okay, Mac, I'm not convinced that Jesus isn't dead. Could you give me a good reason to think otherwise?
Sure. I was like actually working, so I didn't hear a lot of the discussion that you've had so far. But I guess could I respond with a question? Is that all right?
Sure.
I promise to go somewhere. Yeah. I guess if I were to tell you, if there were to be 10 different instances where I told you something specific was going to happen and they happened every time, would you consider me a reliable source of evidence for what might happen in the future?
You would be showing me, you would give me a lot of confidence to think that you would most likely be reliable.
Okay. So then I guess my next question would be why is it that then, the Bible has many prophecies that then came to pass?
It doesn't.
Okay. Tell me what prophecy that didn't come to pass.
Jesus didn't fulfill a single prophecy about the Messiah from the Old Testament.
So when it says that he will be put on the cross and they will cast his garments and they will cast lots for his garments, was that not talking about him? Did he not fulfill that?
No, Psalm 22 doesn't say anything about a person being put on a cross. And Psalm
maybe I'll take that off.
It says in a Christian Bible that his hands and his feet were pierced, but that's a mistranslation, as it actually just says, they are like a lion at my hands and my feet. And most importantly, the Psalm actually tells you at the very beginning, by name, who it's about. It says it's Mizmor la David, a psalm for David, and it's meant for David to perform. In other words, it's talking about the trials and sufferings of King David. Although, one of the great things about the Psalms is that they were written in such a way that they were vague enough that anyone could sing them when they were feeling lamentation or mourning or something like that. But they're not prophecies.
Yeah, but the earliest evidence actually supports pierced, not hands and feet.
No.
Yeah, because I know what you're saying. The line like a lion, my hands and my feet, but that comes from the Hebrew text, the Masoretic text.
Yep, and the oldest. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, the Masoretic text. But the thing is, it's mostly grammatically incomplete.
Nope.
Like,
even if it was grammatically incomplete, I'm going to side with the Hebrew over a translation.
Even the oldest Hebrew text we have seems to have a misspelled ka'ari in it, which means like a lion. It's just misspelled. It's spelled ka'aru, which isn't actually a real word. It looks like somebody accidentally elongated one of the what letters was it they accidentally might have elongated?
Yud.
The yud. It looks like they elongated
turned into a vowel.
Yeah. Okay, but like a lion. Okay, but now let's read the context. When it says like a lion, my hands and feet, it's not a complete sentence. There's no verb in that. It says, okay, like a lion doing what to the hands and feet?
Well, luckily the psalmist already tells us what the lions do earlier in the psalm.
Verse 13, he says they're like ravening and roaring lions.
Yeah,
Can you read verse 13 for me?
I'll start from verse 12. Many, and it's actually like synonymous parallelism with what's written in verse 16. Many bulls encircle me, strong bulls of Bashan surround me. They open wide their mouths at me like a ravening and roaring lion, which is similar to, for dogs are all around me, a company of evildoers encircle me. Like a lion, my hands and my feet. It's synonymous parallelism, saying the same thing twice.
Yeah, I mean, look, bulls, lions, dogs, they can all equal enemies.
Yeah.
Even if they're symbolic, like the actions that they describe still have to make sense.
I mean, it makes sense
So
to me.
keep reading Psalm 22. Look, verse 14 it says bones out of joint. Verse 16 it says hands and feet are affected. Verse 17, people stare at me. Verse 18, they divide my garments. So are the clothes being divided symbolic too, or is that an actual event?
I mean,
because even if the animals are like symbolic enemies, the suffering described is still real. So what real event in David's life matches all this?
First and foremost, do you acknowledge that not everything about David's life is written down, if he existed at all?
Okay, yeah, I can agree to that.
What happens to people who are taken prisoners by their enemies in the ancient world?
Does this relate to what we're talking about now?
Yes. Yeah. What happens to their clothes specifically?
To their clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their lots, their clothes are divided.
Correct. Clothes were a very valuable personal thing in the ancient world. They were made, especially for kings, they were made specifically for kings. Like, with King David, for example, his clothes were made specifically for him. So to take his clothing and then sell them was an act of pure humiliation and defeat. The fact that a king was having his clothes stripped from him, it's like it's like denouncing him as a king, saying, this is your real place now. You're not really a king anymore. So it's just it's just the author is just using this as imagery to say that David might be defeated at some point, or that this is really just David's worry of his possible defeat.
But wouldn't you think it makes more sense to actually refer to what Krishna? Because look, I understand what you're saying. It could refer to that.
Well, no, because the psalm explicitly tells you it's a psalm for David. Mizmor la David, a psalm for David.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look.
Yeah, look at what letter is used as a preposition before David's name. It's the letter.
Never heard with that one before. I guess yeah, but just because it's a psalm for David, does that mean it's only about David? Like in the Old Testament, isn't it pretty common for something to be
like that? Like I said earlier, that's the beauty of the Psalms, is that they were written in such a way that they could be sung by anybody. Yeah. That's why it's usually vague in the nature of what's happening. It's always about God has abandoned me, my enemies are surrounding me, but God will vindicate me. Those are generally the outline for songs of lament.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, so then why can't we apply it to Jesus when it honestly seems like it's...
If you want to, but it won't be a prophecy. It'll just be Jesus identifying with a psalm.
Yeah, Psalm 22 was a really well-known psalm. And Psalm 22 especially can be about anybody. It just describes people it describes the person within being hunted down by their enemies, essentially. Like you could make this about anybody who's being chased by their enemies. You can make it about anyone, and the suffering aspect as well.
And to be clear, I'm not convinced that the things surrounding Jesus' crucifixion are necessarily accurate and true from what the Gospels tell us. I have good reason to believe that the Gospel authors are more than willing to add and change facts about Jesus' death in order to suit some sort of theological agenda.
Yeah, I get that, but that doesn't automatically, you can't. I just wouldn't supersede that onto superimpose that onto what's actually happening here.
If they've done it before, I have no reason to think they wouldn't do it here.
We can get to that in a sec, but if it can be about anybody, the thing is it matches that one event specifically, like it's specifically and precisely. Because like if it's just a general suffering,
because the gospel authors were aware of Psalm 22 and wrote the crucifixion narrative to fit Psalm 22.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saying that the authors in the New Testament were quoting this in order to make reference to Jesus. I'm saying that this in and of itself is already pointing to it because of how specific it already is. If it was something a little more vague, I could understand it.
When
But
when Whitney Houston's songwriter writes a song for Whitney Houston, and then in the song Whitney Houston uses first person pronouns and also perfect tense words, completed actions, what does that tell you about who the subject of the song is supposed to be?
You lost me a little bit. Say that one more time. I can understand things, but it takes a...
If Whitney Houston, the pop star, has her songwriter write a song for Whitney Houston, and the song includes first person pronouns, I and me and my, who should we assume is the subject of the song?
Whitney Houston.
When the psalmist says that this is a psalm for David, and then it uses first person personal pronouns, who should I think the psalm is about?
Well, I would say, for David as well. But I feel like the only thing is like the analogy. I understand the analogy, but yours is a little more too specific towards how it would be for Whitney Houston. Because if Whitney Houston's songwriter was writing a song about Whitney's writing a song for her, using personal first person pronouns. I mean, usually we think, okay, sure, it's definitely like talking about Whitney Houston, but this context, a lot of the time that isn't the case. There are situations where they are talking about themselves, but there are cases that means where they talk about generally where they're not just talking about themselves.
So for us to and when they're not talking about themselves, they're not using first person pronouns.
And like the context doesn't really fit Jesus' crucifixion that well either, because there's nothing in there about crucifixion either. The oldest text we have seems to have a misspelling of ka'ari in there. It backs up the fact that the Masoretic text says ka'ari like a lion. It's just that the lions are attacking this person. And they just didn't, for some reason, they just didn't make it a complete sentence. But even the oldest manuscript seems to have that in there. So like it's just misspelled. So I have no reason to superimpose like the Septuagint, which uses a word that can mean to dig. I see no reason to superimpose the Septuagint's incorrect rendering into the text. Also, I wouldn't do that. The Septuagint isn't authoritative.
Also, dig doesn't make any sense either, because you don't dig hands. You pierce hands, but digging requires, for example, like if you dig a hole, you have the ground and you're taking out stuff and setting it to the side. That's what it means to dig in Hebrew. That would be the Hebrew word kara. That's what it means to dig, but you don't dig hands. When you pierce a hand, you don't dig the hand. The appropriate word to be used there would be dakar. Dakar would be the appropriate word used there.
So then what do you think about Psalm 110 when it says the Lord said to...
Yeah, that's the psalmist is saying that Yahweh says to King David, sit at my right hand.
An oracle of Yahweh to David is what it is.
Yeah, David didn't write the psalm either.
But it says it was written by David.
No, it doesn't. So when we go to Psalm 110, when we look at the first line in Hebrew, it says, I'll read the whole first line. La David mizmor, ne'um Yahweh la Adoni, shev legimini adeshit oiviecha adom la reglecha, which means, for David, a psalm, declares Yahweh to my master, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. First and foremost, the first word in there is la David, for David, or to David, or about David. And then the word for when it says the Lord said unto my Lord, the first Lord there is the divine name, Yud He Vav He, Yahweh. But then the second one isn't the word Adonai, it's Adoni, which is the word that you use for human kings. Like King David, Bathsheba calls him Adoni, my Lord, my master, in the 1st and 2nd Kings. So it says, Ne'um Yahweh la Adoni, thus saith, declares Yahweh to my master. And his master is David.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if I were to take it there, I mean, the only thing I could really say is like, because it really just keeps spinning back. It'll just keep circling back to, like, I mean, we don't have everything that did happen in David's life. So for us to,
But this
yeah,
is
for me to be able to, I can't say this without.
well, this isn't really. This is all this is just the psalmist basically praising King David. It's not really so much describing like series of events. He's like, the psalmist is saying that God is saying to David to sit at his right hand. He's basically exalting the king.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, okay. It ends. Or are you still talking about Psalm 110?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go to Psalm 110.
Yahweh shall send the rod of your strength out of Zion, rule in the midst of your enemies. Your people shall be willing in the day of power. This is a bad translation. Let me go to that.
Psalm 110.
Yahweh said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool for your feet. Yahweh sends out from Zion your mighty scepter, rule in the midst of your foes. Your people will offer themselves willingly on the day you lead your forces on the holy mountains. From the womb of the morning, like dew, your youth will come to you. The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest for order, according to the order of Melchizedek is kind of problematic, because Hebrew doesn't say anything about an order of Melchizedek. Rather, it refers to Ata kohen le'olam al divrati Melchizedek. You are a priest forever according to my word. And Melchizedek could either be a proper noun, Melchizedek, or title, righteous king. You are a priest forever according to my word, a righteous king.
All right. I don't want to like backtrack or anything, but I did get a little lost somewhere. But it was just because my mind did get stuck somewhere, but I wanted to let you finish. And because you said that when you see them talking in the Psalms in the first person, that it's talking about themselves, right?
Yes.
So is it a narrator writing this for it? Are like, which ones can we determine whether or not they're David writing them?
The psalmist, well, David didn't write any of them as far as we know.
Okay.
We only have unnamed psalmists who are responsible for the psalms, and they either write these psalms for David or for Solomon or for a number of other, or for the chief musician, or they're about David, or they're to David, but none of them are said to be written al yedai David, by the hand of David.
So which one would you say is in the case of the Lord says to my Lord?
Verse 1, it says, La David mizmor neum Yahweh la Adoni. For David, a psalm declares Yahweh unto my master. And the word for Lord or master there, the second instance, is the human phrase. It's not Adonai, it's Adoni. There's a kirik under the letter nun. So it's not Adonai, which is the term we use for God, but Adoni, my master.
Okay. And that's the YHWH says to my Adonai. Okay. So you're basically saying Adonai here is just like a generic Lord or ruler, not the divine Lord, the Messiah.
Yeah, it's not Adonai, it's Adoni.
Adoni. Okay. So wait. Oh, so you're saying it doesn't say Adonai?
Yeah, it doesn't say Adonai. Adonai does occur later in the psalm. So, for example, if you look down, let me take a look at I believe it's verse 5. And there it says, the Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. So they're saying that God is now at David's right hand, and he's striking his enemies on the day of his wrath. And there the word for Lord is Adonai, with a kamatz underneath the nun.
But still, like, that doesn't remove the messianic meaning, because David calls someone his own Lord.
It's not David calling this person Lord. It's the psalmist calling this person his Lord.
The psalmist is calling David his Lord, so it's Yahweh said to my Lord. He's calling David his Lord.
But then why would the psalmist use David speaking in first person?
It
Where's
doesn't.
that at? Where you see them?
So he's not speaking for David in first person in this context?
No, Yahweh said to my master, that's the psalmist speaking. Yahweh says to my master, and my master is David. David is the master of the psalmist. And then the psalmist has Yahweh speaking to David, saying, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Because this is the Ne'um Yahweh, the declaration of Yahweh.
This is likely somebody from King David's court, basically giving him like a invitation from Yahweh, essentially.
But okay, if it's just the psalmist, then when did the psalmist personally experience all of the events in Psalm 22, like the mocking, the exposure, and
the Psalm 22 is written to be here, let me help you understand. Some of the psalms were written for David, as in like to praise King David. Some of the psalms were written for David in the sense that they are to be performed by King David, and you can usually tell by the type of language that's being used. Like, for example, the psalmist here doesn't, in Psalm 110, doesn't say I and me and my. The only time he uses that kind of language is when, my Lord, referring to David. Otherwise, he speaks about David saying, your people shall be willing in the day of your power. He's speaking to King David. So sometimes when it says La David, that means for David, as in I'm writing this for David to exalt him. Sometimes La David means for David, as in for David to perform. Sometimes it's also La Minzianach, meaning to the chief musician, as in also writing this for the chief musician along with David.
Yeah, I guess Psalms have different purposes, but does that does that change the meaning of the text itself?
Some psalms are for exaltation, some psalms are for lament. Yeah, they have different purposes, but again, none of them were written by David. Some of them were written to be performed by David, but also anyone could perform these. In fact, later on in Israel's history, Jewish people would often just pray from the Psalms, including Psalm 22.
Yeah, but I guess for me, it just keeps circling back to it. Just the events just seem way too specific.
And the reason for that is because the authors of the Gospels see Psalm 22 and they are narrating Jesus' crucifixion as if it is fulfilling Psalm 22. And we have good reason to believe that.
What's your reasoning?
So, for example, when it comes to, and everyone can see more about this on my recent video on typology debunked on the Bible Guide channel. But when we look at, like, for example, the time and day of Jesus' crucifixion, we look at the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. When is Jesus crucified?
2000 something.
Here. Let me ask it this. Okay, here, I'll just tell you. It happens on, Jesus is crucified on the 15th of Nisan, on the Passover in the Synoptic Gospels. So you're familiar with the Last Supper?
Yeah.
And what was the Last Supper supposed to be?
It was just Jesus. It's basically like a going away party.
Well, no,
not a going away party.
It's a specific holiday in the Jewish calendar.
Oh, you mean like okay. Oh, I thought you meant the Last Supper in specific.
Yeah.
It was when the Israelites were leaving Egypt, and God, he had them, bake bread without yeast,
the Passover,
all that specific stuff. Yeah.
So Jesus tells the disciples, go and find a room for us so I can eat the Passover with you. So the Last Supper is the Passover celebration. In the Jewish calendar, on the 14th of Nisan, you prepare the Passover. You go to the temple. In the time of Jesus, you go to the temple and you slay the lamb, and then you take it home where your wife has been preparing the meal all day and stuff. And then that evening, the sun sets, and it is now the 15th of Nisan, and you eat and celebrate the Passover meal. And the following day is the Passover day. Now, in the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Jesus eats the Passover meal with his disciples in the evening. Sun sets. Now it's the 15th of Nisan. And that night, Jesus gets arrested. And the following morning, according to Mark 15, he's arrested at 9 a.m. Now, When we read the Gospel of John, however, the Gospel of John tells us that Jesus was crucified on the preparation day for the Passover. So instead of him being crucified on the 15th of Nisan, now he's being crucified on the 14th of Nisan, and not at 9 in the morning like the Synoptic Gospels, but in the afternoon. Because, and according to John 19:14, he's standing before Pontius Pilate at his trial at noon. So he's crucified in the afternoon. And there's a reason for that, because on the 14th day of Nisan, in the afternoon, that's when the Passover lamb is killed. And the author of John says at the beginning of his gospel, "Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world." In other words, he wants Jesus to be the lamb, the Passover lamb, so badly that he changes the day and time of Jesus' death in order to make his death correlate and take place at the same time that the Passover lambs would be killed. So we see here an example of a gospel author willing to change a fact about Jesus written from a previous author in order to correlate with what he thinks is typologically tied to Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, there were also Galilean and Judean calendars. Like some
No.
evidence would say that, different regions calculated the Passover differently.
No
So
evidence.
Jesus could celebrate.
There's no evidence for that. There's no evidence in Jewish literature that the Galilean Jews celebrated the Passover on a different day. The Essenes had a special solar calendar, but they were a secluded sect in the desert. They had nothing to do with the goings-on of the people of Judea and the Galilee, where Jesus and his disciples were from. So there's no reason to suspect that that's what's going on here. And it doesn't change the fact that one's happening in the afternoon and one's happening at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, I guess. Does that really change the fact though that he was meant to die as the sacrificial lamb? Because I feel like
yes,
even
because it looks more like Jesus was just executed by the Romans, and the authors of the Gospels are doing whatever the hell they can to make Jesus look a bit more messianic than he really was. Like, for example, Mark has Jesus riding to Jerusalem on a donkey because Zechariah 9 says so. But because the author of Matthew misreads Zechariah and thinks that there are two donkeys in the story, he changes it from Jesus riding into Jerusalem on one donkey to Jesus riding into Jerusalem on two donkeys, because he's manipulating the events of Jesus' life to make them appear more fulfilling of the text. And
Jesus still failed.
Say what now, John?
And Jesus still failed Zechariah 9 too, because 9 through 10 says that this is a person who's a king, an actual king. Jesus was never a king. He never sat on the throne once. His genealogies actually disqualify him. And then it says that this king is going to come and defeat Israel's enemies. They're going to cut off the war horse from Jerusalem. The battle bow will be cut off, and they're going to command peace to the nations before they rule over Israel. Jesus never did any of that. He didn't fulfill the prophecy. The author of Matthew is only quoting the part of the prophecy that he thinks Jesus may have actually fulfilled, which is riding a double donkey into Jerusalem.
Double donkey.
Yeah, but okay, Matthew. Yes, you can say he wanted to make Jesus look more messianic.
Yeah,
he's writing for Jews who already knew the Hebrew scriptures.
We don't. Even if he was writing for Jewish people, we don't know that the Jewish people he's writing to know Hebrew. He could just as easily be writing. This author, whoever they are, the Gospel of Matthew's author, could be writing to Jews who live in Alexandria, who don't speak Hebrew and speak Greek instead, because he quotes the Septuagint instead of quoting the Hebrew text. For example, Matthew chapter 1, he says that the Parthenos shall conceive, which is what the Septuagint says, but even the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were written between the 2nd to 3rd century BCE, say not that the young woman shall conceive, but that the young woman is pregnant, present tense. The author of the Gospel of Matthew is quoting the Septuagint over even an original Hebrew, because that's what he's using, and that's what his audience is using.
I stand corrected, because it does make sense that he could be writing to Jews in Alexandria who don't actually read Hebrew. You are right about that. That's a good one I didn't think about, yeah.
Yeah, because, Matthew was writing for Jews who knew scriptures. I mean,
Well, not
probably
Matthew.
in the diaspora. I mean, that doesn't mean he invented or exaggerated facts. It means like he just explained it in a way that they would understand.
Well, no. Again, like what I said to you, the Septuagint, the original Hebrew, for example, of Isaiah 7:14, says that the young woman is pregnant, present tense, not a prophecy about a woman who will become pregnant in the future. But the Septuagint translates this as that the young woman shall conceive, the Parthenos shall conceive. And the author of Matthew is quoting this Greek misrepresentation over what the original Hebrew says.
The Hebrew
why do you believe he would go ahead and do that?
That means behold, the young woman is with child. It's hara is an adjective which means to be pregnant. Tahare is how you would say will conceive. They will conceive. That's not what the text says. The text just says Hine hara, behold, the young woman is with child. This is a present tense. The young woman is already pregnant and she's not a virgin. She's a young woman. The author of Matthew just misinterpreted what the word Parthenos meant within the context of the passage, because he only knows about it from his time period and not what it used to mean, like what the meaning would have originally been. Because during his time period, the word had the meaning of the word had kind of shifted more towards virgin. But when it was first written, when Isaiah 7 in the Septuagint was first written, the word itself would have been able to mean young woman or virgin. And within the context of Isaiah 7, it's a young woman. But the author of Matthew misinterpreted it.
I mean, so you're saying basically, Alma was like the way that it was interpreted when it was used in the Bible was not how it was interpreted in the time where it was set to happen.
I'm saying that the word
in the time that it was set to happen, the time when Isaiah 7:14 was set to happen was the 8th century BCE, and there it just says that the young woman is pregnant. Now, what happens is after hundreds and hundreds of years later, Jewish people need to find a way to make this text relevant to their time period. So instead of having it say that the young woman is pregnant, the author changes it to the young woman shall become pregnant, making it a future prophecy, something that the audience of that day can look forward to. And then, of course, by the time you get to the time of Jesus, while Parthenos was once understood in classical Greek to either refer to a virgin or to a young woman, both are, used. By the time you get to Koine Greek, it becomes a bit more narrow and becomes meaningful towards the word Greek as opposed to a young woman. But the point is that the whole point of this saying is that whoever the Gospel of Matthew author is, I don't know whether or not they know Hebrew, and I don't have any good reason to think that their audience knows Hebrew, or that their audience is able. And Jewish people in the first century don't necessarily means that they are able to rightfully interpret the Bible, because it's been hundreds of years since Isaiah, for example, was written, and Jewish people have had to recontextualize the Bible to be more meaningful for their time period. Prominent example being the Dead Sea Scroll community in Qumran. They have to translate and they have to interpret the book of Habakkuk, for example, to be about their leader in their time, even though that wasn't the original context, because that's just what you do as a religious organization.
Yeah, I mean, look, I guess, yeah, look, it's true. We don't know how fluent he was in Hebrew, but I feel like that doesn't matter for his quotations.
It does.
Because, look, the Septuagint was widely used, and we can both agree on that. By Matthew's time...
Not really, though. That's the point. Like, the Septuagint was not used in synagogues. The Septuagint was for the institution, for the government. It wasn't used, like, you wouldn't have ever read the Septuagint in the synagogue.
You wouldn't have read...
But, like, also, the author of the Gospel of Matthew simply doesn't understand what synonymous parallelism is within Hebrew literature. So in Hebrew literature, sometimes you say the same thing twice using different words. It's called synonymous parallelism. You're paralleling the previous line using synonyms to the words in the first line. For example, Zechariah 9:9, lo, your king comes unto you lowly, humble, riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. It's saying the same thing twice. The author of Matthew doesn't understand this principle of synonymous parallelism, so he understands it not as the author is simply poetically repeating the same thing, but, oh no, there are two donkeys. that the Messiah is supposed to ride in on. And so he changes what the Gospel of Mark says, where Jesus just rides in on one donkey, to Jesus rides in on two donkeys. So again, this is just another reason why I'm not convinced that the Gospels are accurately relating what Jesus said and did. And the fact that Psalm 22 sounds very similar to what happened to Jesus on the cross, that's exactly what I would expect for people who are manipulating Jesus's life to be more messianic.
I also want to point out that the term betula is a legal term. And the Alma is a descriptor, but betula is a legal term describing their status.
So I think we have gotten a little bit from the topic at hand, being that Jesus is dead, and we've been on the topic of prophecies for far too long. So why should I think that he isn't dead?
Well, I mean, I feel like there are still prophecies that he that he does fulfill. You know, there's a lot of prophecies that Jesus ended up fulfilling. Like well, Matthew 2, well, I mean, you said you don't really go for Matthew. So
Matthew 2 repeatedly misquotes the Old Testament. Tell me what this.
Okay, what about
what is this about? I'm gonna read you. So, when Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son.
Israel.
Yeah, and it's about the Exodus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it mentions Israel, and then it uses past tense. I called my son out of Egypt, and then we get to Matthew, and Matthew tells us that Jesus going into Egypt as a baby happened in order to fulfill the word that's spoken by the prophet. Out of Egypt I called my son.
Oh, so you're saying, okay, Matthew misquoted that? Well, I'd have to look into that. Yeah,
On
I don't
purpose,
know too much about Matthew. I haven't heard a lot of objections I got in Matthew, so this is new to me. But what about in what about I guess Daniel 9:26.
Daniel 9:26 describes the death of a high priest Onias III. An anointed one will be cut off and will have nothing. Not the anointed one, not the Messiah, as the definite article is lacking there. And also, when we take a look at the calculations for Daniel 9, it tells us 490 years from the going forth of the word to rebuild and restore Jerusalem until an anointed prince shall be 490 years. And that going forth of the word to rebuild and restore Jerusalem, according to Ezra chapter 1, verse 1, was given by King Cyrus the Great. And that was in 589 BCE. At 490 years later, it only gets you to 40 BCE.
Yeah, he talks about 70 weeks. Yeah, he talks about 70 weeks. Well, like 490 years.
Mm-hmm.
The desecration of the Antiochus. It's not about the destruction of the temple, the desecration of the altar. That's what it's talking about. Think about the story of Maccabees. That's really what it's talking about.
Yeah.
And we might refresh me on the story of Maccabees.
That the Seleucid Greeks made an incursion into Israel, and that the Hasmonean dynasty rebelled against the Seleucid Greeks, and this was in response to Antiochus sacrificing pigs on the altar, and the Maccabees revolting. This is the story of Hanukkah, if you're familiar with that at all. And this is interesting because the book of Maccabees is only preserved in the Christian Bible in name, but in reality it's preserved in both Daniel and
yeah.
Why am I blanking?
Come in.
Daniel and 1st and 2nd Maccabees.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it says after the I'm going to read it. It says, after the 62 weeks, the anointed one shall be cut off, but not for himself.
But it doesn't say that, though. It doesn't say the anointed one. It doesn't say the anointed one. The definite article is lacking. It just says Yikret Mashiach ve'ain lo, which means not the anointed one will be cut off and not for himself. It means an anointed one is cut off and will have nothing. Ein in Hebrew means without or not having. Like, for example, God is often referred to as Ein Sof, which means what, Rabbi?
Ein Sof, without end, yeah.
Yeah. So the Ein Lo means and he will have nothing, not for himself.
Yeah, like the Hebrew literally says Messiah or anointed one, but the context makes it
Yeah, but
clear.
wait.
Anointed one.
It says Vikarat Mashiach, not Karat HaMashiach.
Yeah.
The word ha, the prefix ha is missing there for your argument. And by the way, all priests are anointed.
Yes, and every priest, like Aaron, for example, Aaron was also a Mashiach, if you will, a Messiah. King High Priest Onias III was a Mashiach. Isaiah 45 refers even pagan King Cyrus as God's Mashiach.
Yeah, but those are different. Like, yes, they were also anointed, but that doesn't make them Messiah Daniel, like, you know, the Messiah that Daniel predicts.
Daniel isn't talking about Messiah because you're reading in English and you're thinking about it in English, but all Daniel talks about is how an anointed one will be cut off and have nothing. That perfectly fits with Onias III.
It's an inconvenient reality.
There's nothing about the text that necessitates that is about the Messiah, as the Hebrew Bible doesn't really have that kind of language in it.
Yeah, but I mean, it does still talk about innocent sacrificial death. I mean, no other historical figures in the Bible match it.
It does not describe the death of the anointed one as a sacrifice for sin.
Yeah,
and by the way, not all sin is redeemed through blood sacrifice. Some sin is redeemed through grain sacrifice. Some sin is redeemed simply through leaving the camp for a few days in purification. So I think like the problem is, and I think that they've tried to demonstrate this multiple times, is that the Christian Bible just does not understand the Hebrew Bible. There's a complete lack of understanding because it's clearly going off of a text that is a translation that misses most of the idiomatic and cultural expression, and it is flattened in the Greek.
And there were it's true that, like, you know, not every sin required blood sacrifice under the law, but Jesus's death wasn't about one kind of sin. It was the ultimate all-encompassing atonement.
Humans can't,
because look, old sacrifices were temporary.
I know that's the claim, but I have no reason to believe that claim. It sounds to me more like Jesus died, the temple eventually was destroyed, and how convenient that we can just recontextualize Jesus' death as atonement for sin. I don't have any good reason. There's nothing about Jesus' death that even remotely looks like a sacrifice. And also, I mean, literally in the Hebrew Bible, Book of Proverbs, God says that those who justify the wicked and then condemn the righteous are both an abomination in the sight of the Lord. And yet it seems like the central claim of the New Testament is that the righteous is condemned and the wicked are treated as if they are the righteous.
Yeah, but it's less of the wicked are treated as they're the righteous. It's more of the righteous are more pompous, thinking that there is nothing wrong with them, and he came to save those who don't already have this idea that they're doing everything right, and he came to challenge those people who thought they were righteous because they were actually doing things that didn't go according to the law.
They were righteous. So we're not talking about the people who didn't convert to Christianity.
Well,
we're talking about
honestly, no, not even thought. You caught me there. Not even thought. These are people who deliberately changed their laws in order to suit them better, and that's another thing that Jesus not change their laws, but
they didn't
not changing their laws, but oral laws. For example, what was it when Jesus was speaking on how it says for them to obey their mother and father and respect them and this and that, but then
Jesus also obeyed some oral traditions that weren't written in the law of Moses. He observed the Passover.
It's not about. It's more about they use the oral laws to override.
This is completely besides the point of the conversation. We keep getting away from it. I've yet to be given a good reason to think that Jesus isn't dead.
Yeah. Well, okay. So then, what do you think about the fact that they did write to the church of I forgot what church it was, where they were basically saying that he appeared to 500 people.
Corinth.
And there was
in what way did Jesus appear to here? I'm going to give you a test here. How many
physically.
facts? How where does it say that?
Well, if he came back physically,
well,
he said he came.
That's assuming that what Paul understands the resurrection to be is the same thing that the Gospels say the resurrection is. That needs to be justified.
Can anybody see God?
So are you saying that the Gospels and Paul's...
What was that, Rabbi?
Can anybody see God without unaliving?
Right, yeah.
I'd say God the Father.
You're saying there's different... You're saying you're a polygamist? I mean...
No, I'm
Polytheist.
Trinitarian.
Polytheist.
Polygamist?
That's
It's crazy.
I'm Trinitarian.
Also, since Mac brought up the fact that he thinks Jesus was supposed to be like the final sacrifice, that contradicts the Old Testament, contradicts Jeremiah 33, where even in the New Covenant, sacrifices will be forever.
I don't want to get away from this claim. You've made the word used for appear in 1 Corinthians 15, ophthe, has a semantic range, and it can refer to physical visual sight, but it also can refer to internal perception of something. Paul says that Jesus was revealed inside of him, and he uses the word ophthe to describe Jesus appearing to him. So how have you made the conclusion that name me facts about the 500?
I can't. We don't have anything on them.
Correct. We don't know their names. We don't know when this happened. We don't know where this happened. As far as you know, this could be 500 Christians sitting in a room praying and fasting, and then they have this like feeling that Jesus is present in the room with them, much like what you would see in like a Pentecostal setting, and thus Jesus appeared to them. That's fully allowed by the word ophthe. So how did you come to the conclusion that this was Jesus physically standing in a room with 500 people?
Well, it also said, though, it says, because look, the verse says, because this is 1 Corinthians 15, I'm sure you know.
Verse 6.
Because after that, he appeared, it says, after that, he appeared to more than 500 of the brothers and sisters at the same time, most of whom are still alive.
Yeah.
Some of those have fallen asleep. So, I mean, if they're all seeing them at the same time, I'd understand if it was he appeared to a bunch of people over time.
He appeared to them all at once. Literally, the Greek here allows for this to simply mean that 500 Christians have an internal perception of Christ, where they feel his presence in the room with them. That's fully allowed by the Greek. So how did we come to get rid of that idea?
Well, I'd have to look on that too.
Like, for example, you don't think that Isaiah saw God with his eyes, do you? In Isaiah 6?
Read Isaiah 6 for me.
I saw the Lord.
Just tell me what it says.
I saw the Lord high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. It was the vision of Isaiah.
Genesis 18. Vaisa.
Yeah. I believe he saw him.
He saw God with his own eyes.
Well, maybe not like him embodied, but
it's a vision. Where do visions happen?
Yeah, I mean, I believe. Okay, yeah, no, I do believe he saw God. Yes, you're right.
In a vision, though, right? Not physically.
Yeah.
And where do and where do visions occur?
Well, it can have
internally
either when you're. Oh yeah.
Mind's eye.
So, and if I look to the Septuagint, even here, it uses horao, which is like the standardized form for the word ophthe, the same word. They're just different cases, different usages of the same word. But again, if that word can be used to describe Isaiah, who's simply having a vision, an internal perception of God, and Paul also says that Jesus was revealed in him, and he says then, last of all, he appeared also to me, then it seems just as likely that when we have 500 brothers and sisters who see him all at once, this is 500 Christians sitting in a room, praying, fasting, engaging in all kinds of ritual behavior, and they have an inward perceptual experience that they are deeming to be Jesus.
Yeah, what kind of perceptual?
Inward. Oh.
Oh, it sounded like you said that. I was like, holy shnikes.
Inward. Inward.
I was like off the app for a second.
INWARD.
Yeah.
My phone made the same mistake. I said inward perception, and it wrote it out as inward perception.
But the thing is, like, yeah, visions okay, but you're saying the sea. But I mean, yeah, but Paul writes most of whom are still alive, though some have fallen asleep.
Yeah.
I feel like this only really makes sense only if it was
some of these people who have these ecstatic experiences are still alive. But again, there's nothing in the Greek that necessitates that this is Jesus physically present in the room.
Also, some have fallen asleep and experienced this, so
yeah,
it wasn't a visual thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. I definitely have to dig more on that as well.
There's actually a paper on this, that I would suggest that you read. Let me pull up my documents right now. It's called "Exploring the Role of Bereavement Hallucinations in Early Christian Resurrection Beliefs" by Dr. Stephen Smith. I believe he also wrote a book on the same topic, but he goes into how he wrote it. Dr. Stephen H. Smith. Let's see. Or is it presence? The book was called Images. Wow, that is terrifying. That is not all I'm looking for. Well, just you can probably find him online, Dr. Stephen H. Smith. Stephen H. Smith. But he wrote a book about how purely using psychological explanations we can fully explain the post-mortem appearances of Jesus in 1 Corinthians 15. First to Peter as a bereavement hallucination, and then for everyone else as either hallucination or collective delusion.
Yeah, I got you. My bad, bro. Hold on. I don't see it. Oh, you got it? Oh, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I got you. Okay, so right now your argument is just hinging right now on, or at least in this case, well, oh yeah, my bad.
A sense. It's called. That's what it's called. Stephen H. Smith, A Sense of Presence. That's the name of the book. But what is my argument hinging on?
What the text says.
McHenry or Mac? Mac, when you leave?
Yeah, whether he saw them, whether they saw him physically or internally.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to be able to make an argument from Paul's letter that it was physically and external that Jesus appeared to people.
Hold on, let me read first, and then we.
Especially Paul, if you go off the app, then you won't be able to. Nobody will be able to hear you read.
I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. I was trying to text someone. Yeah, Lear, let me just look. Sorry, I don't want to take up too much time. Let me just look at the verse.
But also, okay, isn't Paul's vision internal also?
Yes, Galatians makes that very clear.
I mean,
1 Corinthians.
Yeah,
the exact 1 Corinthians 15. This is what Paul says. For I handed on to you as of first importance what I in turn have received. That Christ died for our sins in accordance with the scriptures, that he was buried, and that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the scriptures, and that he appeared to Cephas. Notice first and foremost, no Mary Magdalene mentioned. Also, you'll hear nothing about an empty tomb. Paul doesn't seem to be aware of these traditions. That he appeared to Cephas, then to the 12. Then he appeared to more than 500 brothers and sisters at one time, most of whom are still alive, though some have died. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles. Last of all, as to one untimely born, he appeared also to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's just I don't know, because it's like, I mean, I'm still really just stuck on this appear thing, because it's like, yeah, I mean, that's just something that it would have to be verifiable. Like, did you see them in a whatchamacallit, did you see them internally, or did you actually see him standing in front of you? But it's like, why would he say some of whom are still alive if he wasn't saying so in a verifiable way? Where it's like, hey,
because for these people, testimony was unlike us today, who realize that testimony is not all that reliable. For people of the ancient world, talking to someone like, yeah, I was there, and we all, and Jesus appeared to all of us. I could feel his presence in the room and all that. So that kind of testimony is really strong for people who are questioning. They would see it as confirmation that Jesus was alive.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure like skeptics could have gone and asked them, you know, like,
and they
I feel like that's extreme.
And they would have told them, yeah, we experienced Jesus's presence, because it's an internal perception. How would you test their claim?
I mean, but then it's like, then it just circles back to us, like, how could you say that for sure that it's an internal
because I'm not saying vision. For sure, I'm saying that is fully allowed by what the Greek here says.
It is allowed, but I mean, I guess that's just not the route I'm taking.
It's just not a good argument for the resurrection.
I mean, but the thing is, it could be allowed for that, but it could also be allowed for the other one.
You know what they say though. You hear hoofbeats in the distance. Think horses, not unicorns. My understanding of the text is a lot more parsimonious. I'm gonna need a good reason.
I mean, but like 500 witnesses, like,
again, witnesses to what?
To his appearance, to him being there in the flesh.
Whoa! Why are you throwing in that stuff about him being there in the flesh?
Well, because we never seen him. Because after we know that he was resurrected, he asked them to feel the holes in his hands.
Well, that's the gospel. So that's the Gospel of John, which wouldn't be written for decades later. As far as I know, that's simply a myth that had not yet been created about Jesus. All we're dealing with is what we had at this time, being Paul and his writings and what Paul tells us he believes about Christianity. Paul never once describes Jesus' resurrection body as being physical or fleshly. In fact, later on in 1 Corinthians 15, he goes on to say that his body is a spirit body and not a flesh body. He even compares and contrasts Jesus to Adam, saying the first man was made from the dust of the earth, and the second man became a life-giving spirit. As far as I can tell from Paul's own words, he seemed to believe that Jesus' resurrection was spiritual in nature and not a physical, corporeal resurrection.
So then, but wouldn't that, because if that were the case and Paul said it that way, then that would mean that, according to Paul, people didn't resurrect in the spirit before Jesus did.
Physically. They don't resurrect physically.
So then,
Paul,
so are you saying...
You have to remember that Judaism in the first century was not a monolith. And that while there were Jews that believed in the idea that the resurrection entailed physical resuscitation of the corpse, that's not uniformly what all Jewish people believed. Paul even uses the analogy of a plant, a seed, being put in the earth. When you plant a seed into the earth, does the seed come up or the plant that's in the seed?
Say that one more time.
When you put a seed into the earth, is it the seed that comes up out of the earth, or is it the plant that was inside the seed?
It was, I guess, I mean, it's the whole thing itself, but the plant that comes out of the seed.
And if Paul says that this is like Jesus' resurrection, where the thing that dies is sown. And he says even then, and he even says that the body that is sown is not the one that is raised, and describes Jesus' body as spirit and not physical. What else am I supposed to think about what Paul thought about the resurrection without presupposing the information that we receive in the Gospels, which were not written when Paul was alive? He was already dead by the time the Gospels were written.
All right, so how about this? How do I get all this? Because I want to be able to like come back and like talk to you again about this. So it's like so what do you? How would I be able to just find all your points and see if I can find rebuttal to it?
There are several scholars I suppose you could look at. I mean, Dr. Bart Ehrman would be one of them. Dr. Richard Carrier would be another one who talks about the resurrection.
I recommend taking notes while you're on these conversations.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So then, boy, so are you basically saying like Luke wasn't true either, because he said Jesus, like he was eating fish in front of front of his disciples.
The Gospels were written by we don't know who, decades after Jesus was already dead, and they contradict each other. When Luke and Matthew can't even agree about any of the factors regarding Jesus' birth, I don't really take them to be all that reliable.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll come back.
All right.
All right. Later.
Bye, Mac.
All right. Pretty good conversation overall.
You got your good faith interlocutor.
Yep. Here, wait a minute. Mac, the resurrection, prophecy, 1 Corinthians 15. All right. Fantastic. All right. We'll bring up JM next. And then if I have any super chats, I'll read them. So, JM, are you at least 18 years old? Taking a second for it to load in. JM, is your internet good enough for this conversation? Is your internet good enough for this conversation?
Do you turn on the thing that says like guests can receive recordings of their time on the show or whatever?
That's an option?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Maybe I have it set already. I have no idea.
I don't ever receive a notification from you, but sometimes you can toggle for particular guests.
Where would that be at? Let's see. All I see for options here is mute, invite, turn camera on, expand, and disconnect.
I don't know. It might be like A with friends, like before the live, and it might be like a big toggle before the live or something like that.
I think it is, yeah.
I'll have to check that out next time before I go live. Someone said I heard birds. Well, fun fact, guys. Jesus isn't the word, but the bird is the word. Facts. Time for a restart. I think so. I think it is time to do a quick restart on TikTok. So you two are more than welcome to join me back up if you want. So here we go. Now that it's just us, wow. Make sure to send in those super chats, y'all, if you want me to read them later in the show. Remember that we cannot do what we do here on the show without your help. Every single cent is super appreciated. Go live. All right, I've got to take a piss now. I'll be right back. All right. Okay. Justin is on heads up. What is Justin doing live? It's Thursday. Get out of my territory, Justin. Howdy, Johnny.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, and we're back onto the show, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone, make sure you are tapping that screen. Sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, with your enemies, and hello, Bible dog. Come here. Oh, no, not you, bigger Bible dog. Oh.
Make sure to tap that like button like Jonathan wanted to tap King David, but not this Jonathan.
Yeah. All right. Say hi to all the people on cyberspace.
Doggy.
She just likes to lick everything. She lick everything. Her mama gave her too many popsicles when she was a kid. Now she just been licking everything. All right.
Animals are precious.
There's a bigger Bible dog? There sure is, baby. Staring at me.
Just slightly bigger.
You jealous? Yeah.
Oh, someone asked if you got taken down. He just restarted Alex.
Here, sit in your bed. I got her a little doggy bed right next to the show.
Oh, Catholic Traditionalist is back, and he says, "Are you gonna sell your dog?"
Are you willing to sell? Hell no. First and foremost, neither of them are mine to sell. The big one belongs to my mother, the small one belongs to my sister. But even if they were mine to sell, I sure as hell wouldn't. They're family. JC
Also,
said,
watching you cook Catholic Traditionalist was awesome.
I forgot when that happened. Happens all the time. Chris Love 0318. I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the conversation at hand. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
Question. Someone just say anything? Anyways, question number 2.
Cut off.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
You said what?
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
Pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a male.
That is your sex. But what pronouns do you go by?
What do you mean by that?
You go by he, him, she, her, they, them.
That's why I'm man. Like I said, I'm a male. Him.
So, him? All right. And then question number 3: do you think Jesus is dead?
It's funny that you ask, because I just noticed there's a lot of Jesus. My boss's name is Jesus. It spells as Jesus, but it's Jesus.
Jesus of Nazareth. Is he dead or is he alive?
Okay. He's more than alive.
All right. I don't think Jesus is alive. I think he's dead. Could you give me a good reason to think otherwise?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, what makes you think that he's dead?
Because he was crucified. And generally when people die, they stay dead. I've never been given any good reason to think that Jesus is the exception to the rule.
Well, to answer to your question, according to the word, it says he came back alive and he was shown to 500 more people. So those are the witnesses that saw Jesus was alive.
Really?
Even the apostles.
What are their names?
John,
Whoa.
Matthew,
Why do you think those people are part of the 500? Where does it tell us that? Where does it tell us that? Well,
those are the apostles.
I don't care about the apostles. I asked about the 500. The apostles are different. Are different. Well, the Bible's not true though.
See, now you're just pushing it over and over to your unbelief.
No.
Nope.
He's asking you a specific question.
Yeah, I mean, I've asked you for evidence that Jesus is dead.
No,
so
you're saying that the Bible is not true. How do you know? How do you know that the Bible is not true?
Because the earth isn't flat, and the Bible says the earth is flat. So, you know.
So what's his name? Chrislov. He's asking a specific question. Okay, in 1 Corinthians, Paul makes a claim that over 500 people saw Jesus. Can you name one of those people?
How can I name one of those people when the Bible
Exactly.
says 500?
That's the point. That's the point, is that none of them are named at all. We have no idea who they were. And the word that's used there, opthe, in the Greek, allows this to be like an internal revelation type thing where these people may have just felt it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like an actual resurrection. It doesn't have to be like actually seeing a resurrected person. The Greek word just allows this to be like an internal vision, essentially. And we don't know who any of the 500 are. We don't necessarily know what they saw or what they felt. We have no idea. All we're told is that Paul makes a claim 500 people saw Jesus after he died, and so.
Well, not only Paul claiming, but Jesus said it himself that he's gonna.
No, we have nothing from Jesus.
And he's gonna raise
how do you know what the Bible says Jesus said is actually true?
Because he is the Son of the living God.
That's not a reason to think that the Bible is true.
So
if you are God,
so, hey, Chrislov, if you walked up to a Muslim and you said, "Why should I believe that Muhammad is the last and final prophet?" and they said to you, "Because the Quran says so," and you said, "Why should I believe in the Quran?" and they say,
false. They're also false.
and your religion's false too. I can just say the same exact thing.
Well, you can say that, but by the time when the time is right, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess.
Oh no, that was supposed to happen. That was already supposed to happen. That's supposed to happen in the first century.
It's gonna happen.
Chris, a Muslim could just say that. Chris, a Muslim could just say the same thing to you. They could just look at you and go, "You can say that," but when the last days comes, when the Mahdi comes, every knee will bow down and confess that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. So like that's just a thing you say to yourself to comfort yourself with the fact that there are people who don't buy into your bad arguments. But like none of that matters if Jesus isn't alive. Like that claim that everything will bow, that's just cope.
You're using Muslim. You're using Muslim as an example, but to be honest with you, there were two sons of Abraham, Ishmael and Isaac. Isaac was the son of the promise. Ishmael is from the Muslim side. They were not blessed.
There's no evidence that there's no evidence. So there's truth. Okay.
And you know that. And I
muted you. No one can hear you. There is no evidence. There is no evidence. There is no evidence that Muslims today are descended from either one of Abraham's sons. In fact, and the reason for that is because Abraham. I don't care what Muslims say. Abraham did not exist. So no one is descended from Abraham.
We have no reason to think that Jesus is alive any more than Aristius is alive, or that Alcestis is alive, or that Julius Caesar.
What do you guys believe?
Or that Julius Caesar is a god.
I believe in things that are demonstrable, so that's why I don't believe Jesus is alive.
Do you believe in Satan?
It doesn't matter what we believe in. The question is, why should I believe in what you believe in?
Because that's the truth and the way in the life.
No, we don't believe in Satan. He has to believe in Satan.
I've been proving it with telling you what the word says.
Chris, you are so woeful.
And by faith is the only reason why.
You are so woefully lost in this conversation. You haven't proven jack shit. You've just made claim and then another claim and then another claim. You've yet to provide us any evidence of any of the shit you've been saying.
Okay, you're saying that I haven't proven any evidence.
And yeah, nothing.
But evidence is from your faith.
No
Do
evidence.
you believe? Okay. Do you
No,
believe that your mom?
No.
converted-
Faith is belief without evidence. That sentence you just made didn't even make sense. I don't have faith. Faith is useless.
Exactly. So that means you're not pleased and you're heading to destruction. You're one of those that are heading.
No one gives a shit about your preaching. If you're here just to preach, let us know now so we can get rid of you. If I wanted to hear preaching, I'd go to church. I don't go to church because I'm not interested in listening to preaching. I don't. So we don't.
Why you go to church?
Just like
the Bible.
Just like roll.
Listen to nothing, bro. What's going on here?
Chris Love, you need to calm down and you need to stop crashing out.
He's the one that was arguing.
You're literally crashing out, Chris Love. Right now, you're crashing out. You need to calm down. You need to get back into gear, and you need to listen.
I'm gonna give you until the end of the song to chill your shit out, and if you don't, I'm getting rid of you.
That's why I like this conversation.
Are you done preaching?
I'm not even preaching. I'm just telling you nothing but.
Chris, when you start spewing your bullshit about how everyone's gonna bow the knee and all this if you just keep spouting off your dogma at me and your doctrines without giving me any good reason to believe in them, that's just preaching. I don't care for it.
Well, how can I give you, brother, when you read the Bible? You know your Bible. That was funny because you read your Bible.
Yep, which is why I'm not a believer anymore.
That's why I really feel for you, because you read the word.
I don't care if you feel for me. I'm not going to let you emotionally manipulate me. I'm not a believer because of how well I know the Bible.
You're not a believer because you well know the Bible. I don't believe that.
I don't care if what you believe. You can't fucking read my mind. I know the Bible better than you do, Chris. And it was reading the Bible that's what made me leave Christianity. So I don't give a shit if you don't believe me.
That's not why. Because the devil is manipulating your mind.
Okay, Chris. Hey, Chris. I got one. Chris. I got one last thing to say to you, Chris. Okay. Fuck you. That's enough.
Yep. I mean, he didn't come up here to actually have a genuine conversation. He came up here to preach his bullshit.
Yeah. No one cares for preaching. This isn't fucking church. If all you want to do is make claims about the devil has deceived you, boy, to believe in the great lie, then well, you're just full of shit. No one wants to hear that shit. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anyone else who wants to come up and not preach at us? Common ancestor music, the demons know the Bible and tremble. Says who? The Bible doesn't make the claim. This is another thing. Is that the devil quotes the Bible like twice. In the entirety of the entire Bible, he quotes 2 fucking verses, and suddenly there are Christians walking around saying, well, the devil knows the Bible super well, so if you know the Bible very well, you must be a demon. Where the fuck did you get this idea that the devil knows the Bible well? Shouldn't you? Does that mean that if there's a Christian who knows the Bible well, that fucking they're infested with demons now? Suddenly, if I was a Christian and then I excluded this much knowledge about the Bible, you would say, wow, he's so scholarly, he's so knowledgeable, so righteous. But because I'm a non-believer, suddenly it's the devil.
Michael Fields wants to know if we ever looked into the Shroud of Turin. Yeah, it's fake.
Yeah, the Shroud of Tourism, as we call it here.
Yep.
Let's see. Yep, exactly, Nini Baba. The Shroud of Tourism. They say that because of the temptation in the wilderness but he quotes only 2 Bible verses, and suddenly Christians have this leap in logic where suddenly they think that the devil has perfect knowledge of the Bible. It's craziness. Talk about I'll take 500 things, 500 for things that don't appear in the Bible. Godless engineers also having issues getting guests. One of these days, Man, they got to make it a way to where we can like multiple creators can be live at the same time and hosting together, and that way everyone's getting their moolah and their time and stuff. Because I would love to do a show with John. I did a show today with Jovan. It was so much fun. See, 2 verses is way more than a lot of Christians know.
That is correct. That is true.
It's crazy. True though. They don't know the Bible, of course. They think the devil knows it. Yeah. Just pass off the guest to the next host. Oh man, I caught that show. You two worked well together. Oh yeah, it was fun. We had lots of. First time I went on Jovan's show, we only had one guest who showed up the entire time. So like, the fact that we had like nonstop guests today was fantastic. I enjoyed it so much. All right, we have here Tigger. Like from Winnie the Pooh. I'm just gonna call you T because that sounds a bit too close to another word that I feel uncomfortable about saying. So T, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the topic at hand. Give me that.
No.
And question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I am. I'm 19. I just turned 19 last week.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
He/him. Why?
And do you think Jesus is dead?
Yeah, I think Jesus is dead.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm only taking opposition right now, but thanks for coming up, bud.
Wait. I have some claims though.
If it's not related to the topic at hand, that,
No, like, can you please like prove to me?
Nah.
Can you prove that? And then he's just gone. He just get cut off. It's funny. He was really impatient in the comments. I was very certain he was a Christian who thought Jesus was alive. Like the amount of impatience he was exhibiting in the comments, I really thought he was going to be a believer in that.
Why did my thing go off?
Astral Sunshine is right. He was in the comments for like an hour waiting.
That's funny. Michael Peel says, I know you see me. I do see you. Why did you say so? If you said something earlier and I missed it, then no, I didn't see you.
I've been responding to him in the comments.
Can y'all hear her going off on that toy?
I can. I hear that. It's awesome. I like dogs.
Let's see. Let me see what we got going on over here. 1 hour wasted of him waiting. Yeah, funny. That was weird. So Bible verse, right? I got some Bible verses as an evidence that Jesus isn't dead.
In fact, they can be evidence that his second coming failed.
Yeah, that is true. The Bible is evidence that Jesus isn't the Messiah. Ironically enough.
That's the funniest thing to me, is that they claim he's the Messiah and then they quote prophecy, but when you go and look at the prophecy, he failed all of them. He didn't fulfill a single one.
This is her. My sister buys these lambs for this dog, and she'll buy new ones like almost every month. So she's got more lambs, more lambs than a fucking shepherd. Then what kind of evidence? Historical, archaeological, discovery, whatever you got, Matthew. Let's see. You can call up and we'll see if your evidence for Jesus not being a big dead boy is any good. My boxers tear all the toys up. Dang, what do you got? What do you got inside those boxers, dude? That's crazy, Nini. Only if you don't clean your room, you're going to hell. I always clean my room after I do a show. I should probably do it one day before I do a show because like you guys can see my dirty ass room. So funny. Where did the YouTube go? YouTube comments go.
I remember the day you got a green screen, like the big green screen for the first time, and I know how excited we all were to see that.
Yeah, I mean it is really a game changer. Having a wait, get out of there! Not trash it, damn bad girl. No.
My cat likes to do the same thing. He likes to climb.
And also, I'm not letting you kiss me later tonight on the cheek because that's nasty. You gotta drink some water before I let you lick me. Yeah, go. All right. All right. Let's see. We'd like solid. Hey, like solid evidence. Yeah, I mean, come on, Matthew. You're more than welcome to call. You're more than welcome to call in. You take that back. She's not a bad girl. When she digs into my trash, yeah. Oh, now she won't look at me. What you
giving you the silent treatment.
What are you doing over there? I'll pet you. Come here. Let's see. How can historians Matthew, why are you messaging me in the comment section? I'm not going to respond to you in the comment section. I don't debate the comment section. Host, do you do these lives often? Yes. Saturdays, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at around 5 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we do these shows. Although, just a quick reminder to our audience that the Monday after Easter Sunday, we will be going live, and we will not be going live the Tuesday after Easter Sunday because I will be busy playing Starfield that day. I can't hop on all under 18. All right, well, you know. Yeah, we don't. No, we do not talk to children on this live. So that's a no-go, bud. Where the my comment section is missing. Yeah, I'll just pull it up on my iPad and I'll be able to see you guys then. Let's see. The Bible guy.
Matt, too, if you're not 18, you're a child.
There you guys are. Now I can see you all on YouTube. For some reason my internet's being just playing. Anyways. Yeah, plus chat don't want to listen to you preaching. Yeah. Has Ty Wolf not been bothering you guys in YouTube today? That's fantastic. I'm so glad to not see their face. Or their username or whatever.
Oh, Ty Wolf.
Yeah, they talk a lot of shit.
He needs to get a fucking hobby or a job or something.
Yeah, get a job, Ty Wolf. I say, yes, he did unalive, but he's on... oh, wait, we have a guest. Tracy. Tracy, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we can get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation. Question number 1.
Yep. Okay.
Are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 19.
Question number 2. What pronouns do you go by?
He.
And question number 3. Is Jesus dead?
Depends on how you look at it.
Is he a corpse or not? Like my great grandmother.
What do you think?
My great grandmother died. Is Jesus the same as her?
No, definitely not. Physically, he's dead. Yes.
Then he's dead.
No, because he lives on in heaven.
Wait. You do know that the Bible makes the Gospels make the claim that he's physically alive and in heaven. Like after Jesus resurrected.
Can you cite the verse that says that?
Yes. Have you read the Gospel of John?
Mm-hmm.
How does the Gospel of John end?
Can you cite the verse that says that?
I'm testing your Bible knowledge here. How does the Gospel of John end?
I don't have it memorized, but
you don't have to tell me the verse, or you don't have to quote it word for word. Just like when they approach the tomb, is Jesus' corpse in there?
No.
Where was it?
Are you talking about John 14:6?
No.
John 17?
I'm not asking you about specific verses. Like where was Jesus' corpse if it wasn't in the tomb?
Well, 500 eyewitnesses say otherwise.
Jesus, fuck. I don't even think this guy knows what he's talking about. So I'll just tell you, the Gospels say that Jesus was physically resuscitated and brought back to life. And so much so that, what did Thomas do? Doubting Thomas. What would Doubting Thomas have to do in order to believe that Jesus was resurrected?
See?
No. I'll give you a hint. He fingered his hole. He put his fingers into Jesus's palms and his side. Everyone knows the story of Doubting Thomas.
Can you show me where in scripture that says that?
Jesus
Yeah, he'll show it to you.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. I can't believe him.
I feel like that's not a hard ask. Just show me where your sources are.
I think it's just not. I just wish I would talk to Christians who actually knew the Bible. It's the problem. Okay, let's take a look.
Tracy. He just expects you to have already read it since you're a Christian.
All right, let's see.
Oh, Tracy left.
Oh, of course.
I kind of figured it was coming when he realized we knew that he didn't actually read it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, let me see. Let me find the just because I guess I'll just go ahead and just read this passage. Okay, let's see. Jesus and Thomas, John chapter 20. Verse, let's take a look. Where verse 24. Make sure I'm right in the face of the microphone. But Thomas, who was called the twin, one of the disciples, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the mark of the nails in his hands, and put my finger in the mark of the nails and my hand in his side, I will not believe." A week later, his disciples were again in the house, and Thomas was with them. Although the doors were shut, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hand. Reach out your hand and put it in my side. Do not doubt, but believe." Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe." So, Tracy, maybe if you're still out there, maybe go ahead and read the New Testament again, because I hate having to sit here and pretend like I'm a Christian who is defending some bullshit from the New Testament just because Christians don't know the Bible.
Which, that's a horror story, by the way. A resurrected corpse and then a guy reaching his hand into his wounds. That's a horror. That's a horror story right there.
I was reading something a bit more sexy. Thomas fingered Jesus, y'all. Bow chicka bow wow.
Well, John was supposed to be his most beloved disciple, but maybe Jesus had a side piece.
Yeah, I get it.
Get it, side piece, because he had a hole in the side too. Double meaning.
Hey, host, I know you go live on the days. Says, does the topic change each time? Yes. Sometimes I run the Jesus is dead topic. Sometimes we run the was Jesus the Messiah topic. Why should I believe in the Bible? Why should I be a Christian? And I'm thinking about other live topics we'll be doing in the future, like God is unjust and evil being one of them. Is a fun one. The thing is, I'm not a typical atheist debater, in that we don't usually do like metaphysics or philosophy. We just exclusively talk about the Bible. So, it's just that's my niche where I'm at right now. I don't really care for the whole "does God exist" debate topic, all right, I'm gonna bring up the next guest. Brush, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then
nigger. Oh, that's a child, and he's using slurs.
Yeah, can you go ahead and block? Oh wait, do you have mod powers?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Oh, here, I'm gonna have to give you mod powers, and as mod,
yay.
Your job, the job of all mods, is simply just to I'll just give you the rundown, since anyways, mods, their job is to here, comment something in the comment section so I can just click on your name. Anyways, their job is to mute people whenever they use slurs, whenever they are spamming the comment section, and also if someone uses a slur live on camera, blocking them.
I can do that. Sounds good.
Couldn't find.
Sounds like the kind of thing I like to do. You can
Good.
hear me, right?
Yep. And thank you, Alex, also.
Okay, my TikTok's open. My TikTok's glitched because my name's not lighting up for me.
Colonel Big Fat Sushi Roll says Thomas must have had fingers like tree trunks. I'd come too. What the fuck? Funny. Howdy, YouTube punk. Good to see you there in the YouTube comment section. All right. Let's see about trying to get a Christian to come up and debate us. Someone who actually knows the Bible, unlike Tracy. Or was their name Lacey? I don't remember. St. Brown says, I miss anything? You know, typical children acting like children. You know, just a missed opportunity for abortion just came up here. That's all. Anyways,
happens way too often.
Preston says, Dalton, do you think Mary Magdalene would have been into pegging? I don't think Mary Magdalene existed. But probably not. As in Jewish culture, they rarely they did not like the idea of a woman being on top in any way. In fact, there was some traditions amongst the Jewish people that if a woman topped a man, that he would get diarrhea. They were so against it.
As it turns out, they were wrong.
Yeah. As it turns out, yeah. All right. Catholic traditionalist, I'm going to ask you the same standard 3 questions I ask everyone. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3, is Jesus dead?
No.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. You know me. Why don't think Jesus is alive? Why should I think he is alive?
Yeah, you say Jesus is dead, prove me wrong. Then explain how a dead man keeps leaving evidence you can't explain. Take the bleeding statue of Christ at the Church of San Jose in Cochabamba, Bolivia. In 1995, the statue's face began weeping a dark red liquid. Church leaders didn't just believe it. They collected samples and sent them to independent labs. The test showed the substance wasn't paint, resin, or animal blood. It was human blood. Even stranger, the analysis reported characteristics consistent with a living human male. Scientists were unable to offer a natural explanation for how a statue could produce real human blood. This isn't the only case. Across the world, Eucharistic miracles, consecrated hosts, turning into...
You don't get to gish gallop, bud. So, first things first.
Notice he's censoring me, everybody. See, I'm presenting evidence. I'm making a case.
You don't
crashing out, child.
Yeah.
If you mute me one more time,
child, don't crash out again.
Do it one more time. I'll leave.
That's how you got cooked last time, Catholic. Don't.
He's just gonna run like a bitch. Yeah.
You made yourself look really weak. You made your guy look really weak. Good job.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna let him just keep rattling off. We were gonna deal with one thing at a time, but he's on script hard. He had a script he was definitely reading from, and he doesn't like ask. Apparently, the Catholic Church doesn't like it when you ask questions. You know.
By the way, in one of those miracles with the bleeding eyes and stuff, it was fucking sewer water. They found out a busted pipe a pipe had busted, and people were like literally touching and like messing with this water. They were getting shit water on themselves.
Yeah, I know. I was about to bring that up, but a Catholic traditionalist is a hopefully he's not a priest, because you know kids run away. Anyways,
I think some people drank it too.
They did.
They thought it would like heal them.
Yeah. That was embarrassing for him. Anyways, you all can't handle
it all the time, though.
Yeah, I know. He's a loser. Anyways, you all can't handle the truth. Thomas J. Wilson, I saw it the first time you texted it or typed it. It's not going to be more true the more you type it. I sent out of the country for saying that. Everyone ignore Mattu, by the way. Here, I'm going to mute Mattu because they're a child, and we don't need to interact with children on the internet.
Mattu, once you turn 18, you're more than welcome to come up here and debate Dalton. We'll I apologize in advance because you're going to get absolutely roasted, and you're gonna be so embarrassed.
YouTube Punk says Catholic boy can't stand not being able to take over the show. I know. I think he forgot that this was the Bible Guy show. Anyways, they can't handle being debunked. So, I'm also thinking about other ways to fill in other show days. So, and one of the things that I've mentioned a couple times already, and I'm going to be doing it, is playing Bible related video games on stream with you guys. And then on top of that, I'm thinking about doing a Bible reading / Bible study. You guys let me know what you think about that. We'll probably just start with Genesis, the Pentateuch. And we won't read the entire Bible because there's no reason to read the entirety of the Psalms. We'll probably just read the Psalms that Christians use as evidence for Jesus and like discuss them and stuff like that. But and then eventually one day, far in the future, we might do a Quran like thing like that. Will you be playing 80s, 90s Bible games? I don't know what that is. But I definitely will be playing a few anything I can find on console.
Actually, I don't remember what this game was called, but they basically do like a modern retelling of the story of Jonah and the whale, and in this, where he wants to go to the land of where God wants him to go to the land of Nineveh. They basically did like a modern recreation of the story, where it's like he's like on a submarine type thing, or not a submarine. It was like a kind of like a sea base or something like that, and it had to do with like it was basically like a modern retelling of the story. It's pretty cool.
Brianna said you should also respond to apologetic videos on YouTube. Yeah. After I made that last video and y'all seem to like it, the typology debunked video, I'm thinking about doing more. Right now you don't react to VeggieTales. I'll do that too. But I also do have this. I have had this idea for a long time of doing like a Bible guy reacts to Christian movies sort of channel. Because I love watching reaction channels with movies, and it would be cool to have an atheist react to Christian movies and television. It'll be difficult to figure out because they are really they love pushing that copyright claim. They're really itchy fingers because they don't like it when we respond to them. But it's not just bad ones. I'll also watch like actual like good movies that are related to the Bible, like The Prince of Egypt and The Chosen, stuff like that, and then react to them, give my thoughts. Bible Man watch party, maybe Bible Man too.
I was gonna say you should do the Chosen of going. Speaking of Bible Man, that was hilarious. The guy and you're like Bible Man is my father, and Justin loved that. Justin literally like burst out laughing at that. I did too. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite vids. I always love it when I can make the other hosts laugh. The Exorcism. Ooh, I don't. Yeah, scary movies, but yeah, maybe. For sure. Let's see. There is a game though I really do want to play. I just want to see it because it looks like it's decent as far as like graphics are concerned, and that's the Gate Zero video game. I just don't know if it's ever going to come out because they've been advertising it to me for years and I haven't seen anything from it yet. Let's see. Christians. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy, resident atheist Bible expert, and I think Jesus is dead. Could you come up and give me a good reason to think otherwise?
1 Peter 3:15. Be prepared to give a defense for the hope that lies within you. Well, we're calling you out.
Yeah, the terrible name said, quoting, I'll bring up Endbuster in a second, quoting traditional Catholic, it wasn't animal blood, it was human blood. Humans are animals, dipshit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I love that. Love you pointing that out. All right, Endbuster, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions and then we can get to the conversation at hand. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I'm 23, yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by? 1 second. Yeah, I gotta close my door real quick. I got people coming in the house. Here, Johnny, ask him the preliminary 3 questions.
Of course. So, Endbuster, you already answered the question. You're 23. I'm 22, so you're only a year older than me. That's pretty cool. What pronouns do you go by?
I'm a man, so use the pronouns for a man.
Well, man is a gender. I'm asking what your pronouns are. So I'll help you out. So,
Yes, so what pronouns do you use
hold
for a
on,
man?
calm down, stop crashing out. So pronouns are words we use to replace proper nouns in sentences to avoid repetition. So these things would be like he, him, she, her, they, them. So when people refer to you in the third person, do they say he went to the store, she went to the store, or they went to the store?
Yeah, so what pronouns does a male use?
Well, I know some males that use he, him. I know some males that use she, her. And I know some males that use they, them. So which one do you use?
Well, you're a male, so you cannot use she, her.
Yes, you can. My ex is a male. She uses she, her. So that's obviously wrong. So which ones do you go by?
I'm a male, so I use he, him.
There you go.
The only pronouns. If you ever studied English, you would know that.
We know English more than you.
The fact that we knew what pronouns were and you didn't.
You definitely flunked English.
I didn't.
No, we passed English. That's why we know what pronouns are.
Let's test his English knowledge here. His grammar. They, them. Can it be? Is it only for plural, or can it be used in the singular?
It's used for a group of people.
Can it ever be?
I didn't flunk English, bro. I'm not English.
Can you use it in the? Is it ever okay to use it? Is it okay to use it in the singular?
No, because we were gonna give a singular.
So in the English language, we've used they and them as singular pronouns since the 1300s. So don't come up here.
Yes.
Don't come up here pretending like you know more about grammar than I do. Now you go by he, him. Good for you. Glad for you. And is Jesus dead?
No.
All right. I think Jesus is dead. Give me a good reason why I shouldn't.
Where's his body?
Where's the body of Apollonius of Tyana?
Of who?
Apollonius of Tyana. He allegedly resurrected from the dead. Where's his body at?
I don't know where that is.
But he must be alive then, right?
Well, they never found Jesus' body.
It's been 2,000 years. What would Jesus' body look like?
Probably mostly bones.
So even if we did find Jesus' body, well, we don't know that for sure. We don't know Jesus was buried in a tomb. As far as I know, Jesus could have been thrown into a mass grave, as was common for crucifixion victims, and then we wouldn't be able to tell his bones apart from the bones of anyone else. So asking where's his body is not really a good reason to think he's not dead, because again, I don't know where the bones or body of Apollonius of Tyana is, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I think he's alive.
Okay, well, the Bible also says so.
Why should I believe the Bible?
And there's eyewitnesses.
Oh, there's no eyewitnesses.
There was 500 eyewitnesses afterwards that died for it.
Here, let's whoa, slow down. I'm gonna do a little pop quiz on you. Let's see how many facts you can bring me up about the 500, and then provide me evidence of these facts and why you think that. So give me let's start with one fact about the 500. Go ahead.
What do you mean fact? What facts should I give?
Tell me something about the 500.
They were probably all anonymous.
Anonymous, so we don't know their names. Okay, do we know where they lived?
No.
Do we know when this happened?
Yeah, it's after 33 AD.
All right, so not who? Hello? Johnny, am I frozen?
Dalton, you there?
Oh, there we go. Sorry. Anyway, how do you know that they were martyred? Where does it say that any of the 500 were martyred?
What do you mean martyred?
That they were killed for being Christians?
Most of them were. Especially the disciples.
No, the 500. I don't care about the apostles. We'll get to that next. Where are you getting this idea that any of the 500 were killed for being Christians? What is the evidence for that?
Paul killed them.
What? Paul killed them? Where does Paul say that he killed any of them? Where did Paul say that he killed?
He said he killed Christians because of...
Yeah, sure, he killed... Well, he He doesn't say he doesn't necessarily say he killed Christians. He only says that he persecuted them. But where does Paul? Paul
executed them because they say that Jesus was alive.
Never says that. So again, where does Paul ever state that he persecuted or killed any of the 500 specifically?
Well, if you go and look back at the historical evidence as well, you would see that most of those people that were persecuted by Paul.
We don't know who the 500 are.
Said that Jesus was alive.
Okay, maybe I need to ask you again because maybe I need to ask you again because you didn't understand. Why would we think that Paul specifically persecuted anyone who was part of the group
documents.
Name the Roman document that states that Paul persecuted any of these 500 witnesses.
I don't know it off the top of my head.
You don't know it because you don't know it because you don't know it because you made it up. Nope. We only have one verse in all literature from that time period about the 500, and that's 1 Corinthians 15 verse 6 and nothing more. You're just making shit up about the 500.
I didn't say that exactly of those 500. There was a lot of other people.
Well, that's what I asked you. I asked you, what is the evidence that Paul persecuted or killed any of the 500 specifically?
Not the 500.
Okay.
I don't know about the 500.
So don't make any claims about the 500.
Everybody that Paul persecuted was anonymous.
Okay, well, that's not evidence that Jesus isn't dead. That's just evidence of nothing.
Okay, so you want to say that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they just died painfully.
We don't know
very
that.
Painfully death.
We don't know that.
For no reason.
The only apostles that we have any record of their death in the first century is Peter and Paul and James, and the rest of the
they were disciples.
Peter is not an apostle?
Peter was which Peter? That depends. Which
Simon Peter, the only Peter that's in the New. There's only one Peter in the New Testament, dude.
That was a follower of Christ. He was a disciple.
Does Paul refers to him as an apostle?
First of all, there's a lot of Peters.
No, there's not. There's one. There's only one Peter in the New Testament. You don't know the Bible. You don't know
one as well.
You don't know the Bible very well, do you?
Denied Jesus 3 times.
That's
denied Jesus 3 times.
That's the same Peter that's mentioned in 1 Corinthians 15. There's only one Peter.
He was a disciple.
He's also an. Okay. Those aren't mutually exclusive titles, right? You can be an apostle and a disciple. All apostles were disciples. Not all disciples were apostles. Jesus had up to 70 to 72 disciples at one point, according to the Gospel of Luke, and 12 of them were called apostles, including Peter.
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
All we have on the death of the apostles is that Peter and Paul were killed in first Clement says that, and then James's death is recorded in Josephus's Judean Antiquities, and the rest of the apostles, we have no evidence of their martyrdom until hundreds of years later within later traditions. They're not reliable. Yep. So we don't know that Matthew and Mark and Luke were martyred for their beliefs, and also we don't know who wrote the Gospels. The titles that we have on the Gospels, you don't get those titles until the late. You don't. Yeah, it is, but it does matter because the Gospel of Mark, because the Gospel
doesn't give you a good reason not to believe. It's still eyewitnesses.
Where does the Gospel of Matthew ever claim to be written by an eyewitness?
Because Matthew wrote it down.
Matthew didn't write it down. We don't know who wrote the Gospel of Matthew. I already said that. So now it matters who wrote it. No, you just said it doesn't matter who wrote them. I'm not done talking. We don't know who wrote.
Some people
I'll just mute you since you don't have house training. So we don't know who wrote the Gospel of Matthew. We have no good reason to think it was written by Matthew. We don't get any evidence. No one names these Gospels until the late 2nd century. Our oldest manuscript of the Gospel of Matthew, being P1, doesn't even have a title on it. So the question is, where in the text does it ever claim to be written by an eyewitness?
If you go look at the readings, if you read it yourself,
I have.
How it was wrote.
I'm not convinced.
To see.
I wish you would have read the Gospels.
Yeah,
Nothing about the Gospel of Matthew makes me think that it was written by Matthew, and he's copying Mark. He's using Mark as a source. And if you believe in what church figures say, Papias says that Mark. Hold on, and Buster, don't interrupt. If you believe in what the church figures say, then Papias tells us that Matthew wrote a manuscript in Aramaic. Well, we don't have a manuscript in Aramaic. What we have is a Koine Greek manuscript that was clearly originally written in Koine Greek, because all of the errors within it are stemming from the Greek Septuagint, meaning whoever wrote it, they wrote it in Greek. They didn't write it in another language and it was translated. We do get later manuscripts that are translated into Aramaic, but...
And Buster, I keep muting you, and you immediately unmute. Why do you think I'm muting you?
You gonna just tell me I should stay quiet and I would listen.
When I mute you stay muted until I tell you otherwise.
You don't have to mute me.
You need to learn a little bit. You need to learn a little bit of house training. If I mute you, it's because
of respect.
No, I don't. I have no respect. I have absolutely no respect for you specifically. Now, again, where does Matthew ever claim to be written by an eyewitness? Tell me. If you've read the Gospel of Matthew,
the way it's wrote, the way it has been written.
It's written. When it describes Matthew, it writes about him in the third person, not first person. So that would tell me if we're going by the way it's written, then it's not written by Matthew.
Yes, it is.
Really? So if I go to the sections that mention Matthew, is it going to be written in first person or third person pronouns?
Okay, go there.
No, that was a question. That was a question.
I don't know. Show me.
He's never read it, Dalton.
I know.
I don't know why I'm surprised.
So let's go to
anybody can learn anything.
I'm gonna open up the book of Matthew now, and we're gonna see whether or not does the author of the Gospel of Matthew use first person pronouns, or does he use third person pronouns? Let's take a look. Let's see. Let me turn to the section with Matthew. Okay, Matthew chapter 9. Okay, let's take a look. As Jesus was walking, listen, I want you to really pay attention, and Buster, and tell me when you notice the author speaking in the first person, so that we can know that this is about Matthew. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man called Matthew sitting at the tax collection station, and he said to him, not he said to me, he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. And as he sat at dinner in the house, many tax collectors and sinners came and were sitting with Jesus and his disciples. When the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" But when he had heard this, he said, "Those who are all well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick, go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, for I have not come to call the righteous, but the sinners." So, first person or third person pronouns, which ones are used here in Matthew?
I guess I was wrong. I can admit that. It was third person.
All right, so I have no good... This text doesn't read like someone who's an eyewitness.
Okay, does the others read us that as well?
Where does the Gospel of Mark ever use... Where does the Gospel of Mark ever claim to be written by an eyewitness? The same thing is going to happen again.
Okay, but anyway, those people that wrote it are still eyewitnesses.
No, they're not.
I have zero reasons to believe these are eyewitnesses. Zero.
So you want to tell me that that person that wrote down what Jesus went to a tax collector just didn't happen?
It's probably based on tradition.
I have no good reason to think it
that
happened.
That person just didn't see it.
Nope.
So you're saying that
nope, they didn't see it. I have no good reason. Unless you give me a good reason to think so, then I'm just going to think this is a myth. This is just a myth about Jesus.
So you're just arguing against every historian.
No, actually, the consensus of scholarship would agree with me on this point and would say that we don't know who wrote the Gospels, that they were anonymous and probably non-eyewitness accounts. That is the consensus of scholarship. You can look at Dr. Dan McClellan, Dr. Brant Ehrman. The only people, no one can hear you talking while I'm talking. The only people who believe that the Gospels were written by eyewitnesses are the minority fundamentalist Christian apologists, not actual scholars.
And there's a reason for that. Is because there's no evidence that the disciples actually wrote anything for us. We have no evidence of that, and the texts are very clearly not not eyewitness accounts. Like the author of Matthew, whoever he is, he has Mark as a source, and he copies from Mark about 80%, and he only changes little parts of the text to make it more about him. Like that's what he's trying to do. He's just changing the text just a little bit, but he's copying Mark. And Luke seems to be going off of some a bunch of different sources. In fact, at the beginning of the book, whoever wrote Luke tells you that they're compiling a narrative because other people were doing the same thing. He's just compiling testimonies the same way the other authors were doing. And he also uses Matthew as a source. So we have no reason to think that any of these were the disciples, or that the disciples left us anything. We have no evidence of that.
So if these are really the accurate, reliable recountings of what Jesus said, when Jesus sent the apostles out 2 by 2 into all the land of Israel on their mission trip, which one of these two things did he say to them? Did he say A, take nothing with you, not even a staff? Or B, take nothing with you except a staff?
Well, both.
Both? That's literally a contradiction.
That's different eyewitnesses then.
Hey,
I
Dalton.
don't know. I haven't read that part. But I'm
Hey,
guessing
Dalton,
it's different
take a
eyewitnesses.
Dr. Pepper, but also don't take a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, if Johnny told me to go on my journey, told me not to take a Dr. Pepper, is that the same thing as saying to take a Dr. Pepper? How does one take a staff?
Where do you read this?
How does no? This is the same story. This is about the same exact event. How does one take a staff but not take a staff at the same time?
Okay, give me the 2 verses.
It's Schrodinger's staff, everybody. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Let's see.
Yep, same event. It's just contradictory statements. They do that a lot. The authors of the New Testament do that a lot. They contradict the same event. They give different details about it. They contradict each other.
This is the Gospel of Mark, chapter 6. He charged them to take nothing for their journey except a staff. No bread, no bag, no money in their belts. So they're told there's a lot of things you're not allowed to take, but there's an exception. And what's the exception that they are allowed to take in this verse?
The staff.
All right. Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10. Same exact story. They're going out to Jerusalem on the mission trip. And Jesus says, acquire no gold or silver or copper for your belts, no bag for your journey, or 2 tunics or sandals or a staff. Are they allowed to take a staff?
Yeah, no.
So which one did Jesus say? Staff or no staff?
Well, you have to understand how different eyewitnesses work. One could have misheard.
So, okay, the Bible's unreliable. Fantastic.
No, it's not. That's how different eyewitnesses work.
No. If they can't remember what Jesus if they can't remember what Jesus said, then I have no reason to trust this book. Thank you very much.
It's the same as me and you walking down the street seeing a car crash, and I say the guy that crashed into that car was wearing a red shirt, and you're saying that guy was wearing a yellow shirt.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is this not the divinely? Is this not the divinely? No. Is this not the divinely inspired? No. Is this the divinely inspired? Is this divinely inspired word of God?
Yes.
Did the Holy Spirit just fuck up or something? Didn't Jesus say? Didn't Jesus say that when the time comes, I will remind you of all that I said?
Okay, first of all,
yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? That was a yes or no.
The
That was
message.
that was a yes or no question.
Yes, but he was talking about
Jesus failed.
reminding them of what he taught.
So
Okay,
Jesus
first of all,
failed.
you need to remember. No. Wait. You need
And that's the 3-hour
reading
mark.
context.
And that's the 3-hour mark. I've had enough of your bullshit. Okay. Anyways, I was already well past tired of that conversation, and it's the 3-hour mark, and my mom is here, and I'd like to talk to her, and I gotta walk the dogs again. So I'm gonna read a super chat, and I'm tired. I just got tired of him bullshitting us. He obviously go home and read your Bible, then come back and talk to me. Christians.
He had never read it.
I know he never read it. Christians, Jesus loves you. Nope, corpses don't love people. If you love a corpse, that's necrophilia, bud. Sorry. Anyways, Christians, here's my advice to you. If you want to come up and have a debate with me, it's best if you actually read the book that we're talking about. So, you know, when I have to explain to you that something as simple as the story of Thomas fingering Jesus aside, and you don't know it, and you're a Christian who says you've read the Bible. No, you're not. Oh, you're a Christian, but you didn't read the Bible. Maybe give it a second read. But here, I'm gonna super chat here. One last super chat.
That might be Greg with the $4.99. Bible game. El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron, is a Japanese action game that's based on the Book of Enoch. Absolutely insane.
Let's take a look at that. I'm not really into JRPGs, but let's see. What's it called? El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron.
The fact of the matter with Metatron, though, is that when God chose him to write down his word, he was just the closest angel to the door. Supernatural reference.
You mean Marv? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Great show. Love that show.
Oh yeah, I gotta drop this real quick. Then we can take a look. There we go. Browse source. All right. Here, I'll just look for the not review. I should have put trailer.
Someone says you should also check out Super 3D Noah's
Come on,
Ark.
Enoch. Time to get back. All is as Lucifer has shown. It was only when various shards of God's wisdom were stolen that Semyaza's betrayal was uncovered. But by then, he, together with the Grigori he led, had already fled.
Semyaza and the Grigori. Look at all those name drops. For anyone who doesn't know, Semyaza is the angel who led, in the book of Enoch, is the angel who leads the rebellion of the Watchers, or the Grigori as they're called in later texts. So look at all that lore drop right there. Yeah, I'll have to, maybe we'll end up playing that one too. We'll see. Dalton said no more bullshit, please. Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
Nini Baba says they saw Noah's Ark in the newest Indiana Jones. I think they're referring to the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, that's the Ark of the Covenant, not Noah's Ark, bud. But interestingly enough, the reason they're both called arks is because, like, when you picture Johnny, when you pictured Noah's Ark in your head, what do you picture?
A box.
You picture accurate box. And a lot of people, when they picture Noah's Ark, it's a big wooden boat. Think Ken Ham and his little sideshow thing. But everyone, when you get a chance, go back and read Noah's story. And you'll notice that not once in the entire text is Noah's Ark ever referred to as a boat. It is not. It's an ark, and an ark is a box. It actually tells you the length and width and height of it. It never describes it having sails or rudders or any of the things that belong to a boat. It's just literally all Noah makes in the story is a big wooden box that floats on the water. That's it.
Also, apparently the newest game does have Noah's Ark in it, so that's what he was talking about.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to look that up. The Indiana Jones lore is kind of crazy. Shadow Slays,
Shadow.
what brings you up, bud?
Hey, got a couple of quick questions if you have time.
Yeah, I can. We're at the end of the show right now, but I can slide in some of your questions real quick.
Sure. I was watching a little like TikTok video, some other anyways, they were saying that in Genesis 1:1, it can be translated to with the beginning instead of in the beginning. Is there any credence to that you can think of?
No. So the word used here in Genesis 1:1 is bereshit. So it's made up of two words. Reshit, which means beginning of, and the preposition ba, which means in. Bereshit bara Elohim. Although some have suggested that perhaps it shouldn't be bara, but bero. Bereshit baro Elohim, which means in the beginning of God creating the heavens and the earth. ... It's used elsewhere, even in the book of Genesis. I think Bereshit is used in the story of Shinar, the plain of Shinar. Wait a minute. The beginning. Let's see. Yeah, Genesis 10:10. It doesn't use Bereshit, it just uses Rashit, but it's like beginning of V'tehi Rashit Mamlecheto Babel, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. Now, I'm pretty sure Bereshit does occur in the book of Jeremiah. Let me take a look real quick, because let's see, Jeremiah.
That sounds right.
Genesis. Oh, I smell someone's smoking.
They were trying to they're trying to connect it to John 1:1, where it says, in the beginning was the Word, and they were saying also that Word was like, okay, they're trying to connect Jesus to in the beginning, that like Jesus was with God in the beginning, basically. But from what I understand, what you were saying is the word there, when it's capitalized, I believe, that it's an angel of creation.
Yeah, so the word and they are trying to make the author of John is also trying to make a connection to the book of Genesis, because he's quoting the Septuagint in the Greek of the Septuagint. It gets translated not as in the beginning of God creating the heavens and the earth, but it's simply in arche, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And that's the Greek that they use for John 1:1. In arche kai in ho logos. In the beginning was the logos, or rather logos, because it's an omicron and an omega. So the logos is something that wasn't new to the Gospel of John. The logos actually appears in an earlier Jewish work, the work of Philo of Alexandria, and in there, the logos is this archangelic being who is described as the firstborn of God's creation, the highest of all God's archangels. It is described as the image of God, which if anyone who's read the New Testament sounds familiar, these are all ways that Jesus is described in the book of in the New Testament. So the Logos figure, the author of John envisions that Jesus is this very highly divine celestial figure called the Logos, and that the Logos has become incarnate, and that's who Jesus is.
Okay. So in John 1:1, where it says the word, the word for the word is logos, which is an angel.
Yeah, it's a category. It's an angelic figure within the works of Philo. Although angel, we call it an angel. Philo calls it an angel. But it's important. This is the thing. It's important to note that when we usually think about angels as a category of being, like there's a species, and we call that species angel. And this isn't quite accurate to how the Bible actually uses the word angel. Angel, angelos, is a messenger. It's not really a species. Angel is a job, is a role and job that is performed. And there are just simply lots of divine beings that fit that function. So like the Logos is its own, in reality, its own special category of being, distinct from, like, for example, Gabriel. But they both function as messengers. So it's not Yahweh. It's not Yahweh, and it is on a higher level as far as its ontology is concerned than other messengers. But that is the language we use to describe it as angel.
Oh, okay. This is getting into like the divine council, maybe that kind of thing.
Partially, yes. Also, a reference to where else Bereshit is used in the Hebrew Bible is Jeremiah 26, verse 1. And there we see it says, Bereshit mamlechot Yehoiakim ben Yeshayahu, in the beginning of the reign of King Jehoiakim, son of Josiah of Judah. So, like, in the beginning of, that's basically what it means. And this is why, and because it sounds funky to say in the beginning of God creating the heavens and the earth, most modern day Bible scholars, both Jewish and Christian, so the New Revised Standard Version updated edition for Christians and the Jewish Publication Society translation for Jewish people, translate Genesis 1:1 as when God began to create the heavens and the earth.
Oh, okay. When, but not with. Okay.
Yeah.
That really kind of like
Gam is with.
Fleshes out. Okay. That really helps actually. Kind of like discern and kind of I don't know, debunk with this one little video snippet of a video that I was watching. So thank you for
send me the message me, send me the video and I'll watch it.
Okay, sounds good. I will do that. All right. Thank you for your time. Later.
Hey, Pumpkin Baby, didn't Pumpkin Baby get cooked by you?
Probably. I assume so. I just assume that if someone's been up here before, they probably got slain. Anyways, Christians get slain by the Spirit, but they also get slain by the Bible guy. That's the fact, Cal.
He's talking shit in the comments. That's why I was wondering, because I remember his name. I'm pretty sure he either got cooked by you or Justin. I can't remember which one, but he's in the comments just talking shit.
Oh, they're just what's the word I'm looking for? They're just sad and pathetic, and they just get their rocks off by talking shit. So watch this. Muted. Can't do it anymore, bud. Anyways, so I don't think I have any more super chats. So that's gonna be the end of that. Who's live right now that I can send you guys over to?
I think Justin's live.
Is he still live? That motherfucker.
I don't know if he's still live.
Let's see. Let me take a look at my TikTok. Yep, he's still live right now, and so is John Cohen. Ooh, I've never sent a raid to John Cohen.
Decisions.
So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and send it over to John so that I can get on his radar. So on YouTube and on TikTok, here, I'll show you guys John Cohen. Let's see, John Cohen. John Cohen, unconvinced. Browser. There you are. Guys, this is John Cohen from Unconvinced. If you're on YouTube, go over to their channel, say that the Bible guy sent you. Maybe send him a super chat and give us a shout out. And if you're on TikTok, he's also live on TikTok right now. So go over there, tell him the Bible guy sent you. All right. And it's different than our show. So if you need something to, we get a bit heated and aggressive. So if you need someone who's a bit more chill, John's really good at that. He's really chill. He's got that nice, gentle, British demeanor. Love him for that. He's got more patience than I ever could. He's a very sweet man. But anyways, go over to John's channel. Tell him the Bible guy sent you, and we will be live again on Saturday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So until then, I've been the Bible guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you all again Saturday. Bye.
Bye, Tarleton. Thanks for having me up. I'll see you later.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame. He tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the stars align. Knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guy, seeker of the light. Through time and fire he lights the night. With reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guy. Scrolls of ages, words aflame. He dares to question every name. From Eden's dawn to Calvary's sky.